and a bunch of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, and then I had a bunch of burritos right now, and I'm stuffed, and I'm ready to go. Welcome to the show where we get a group of panelists and guests, and we just talk different forms of art from all different media types. And today, we honor the name of the show, Book Club, with an actual book. That's impressive, isn't it? 2 books in 2 months? Is that about right? That sounds about right. Eddie Hoozle, today we're talking the second Halo book, The Flood. It's great. It's basically Halo 1, but it's amazing. We'll get into it. So let us introduce our guests. First, my company brethren. We just got, like I said, done playing Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with Tomby and Smooth the DJ and Static 2020. It's Insidious Bliss. How you doing, buddy?
Halo. I read
Halo.
Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, I thought we were reading 50 Shades of Gay.
Same thing.
Same thing, yes.
Hey,
another storm almost took you out. What has book club done to your... How do you feel about book club being a curse to your home?
You're the best weatherman I know, because anytime you schedule a show, it's going to have storms.
It's amazing. I will try to talk to Mother Nature and tell her to shut the fuck up over there. God damn it. I did not do this curse. Thank you for being here, and hell yeah, let's introduce the next person. Again, the person that suggested bringing these books and talking about them, Mr. Angry Canadian from Japan.
Yo, what's up? Thanks for having me back, man. Glad that we get to talk about Halo, specifically the books, because I think not enough people really talk about these books, especially all the turkey and gravy that they have in them.
I know. It's because the only reason Master Chief was able to be so successful is because he didn't have turkey and gravy that first day. So
yeah,
everybody who had turkey and gravy died. I see a correlation there. Insidious was right. I'm not gonna lie.
Spitting facts.
Spitting facts already. And then I tried to get everybody from the last one. Neo right away was like, I can't do it. My scheduling's fucked up. I'm like, all right, cool. I almost had Cult to Carl, but he had to drop out last minute, which, Carl, now you owe me one. All right? No, I'm joking.
Yeah, hold his feet to the fire with that.
Yes, I'll hold you to it. But we still have, even though he almost died from illness yesterday, we have him back. He recovered, and here he is, Mr. Imp Black Belt.
Hey,
what did I just
everyone.
say? Mr. Blimp Black Belt. How you doing?
Blimp Black Belt, yeah.
Blimp, blimp.
I'm good. I'm better. Last week or so has been a little rough, so I'm feeling a lot better now. I'm still tired, but tired is like usual modus operandi for me anymore. So, all right, let's fucking do this.
Let's fucking do this. And shout out to Amin Ra in chat saying moo, and Bliss reads 50 Shades of Grey.
Oh, for anyone that hasn't seen, this is my new PNG tuber. This is a more official version of it. We are going to be doing it. Yeah, behold the suit and the Trump hands.
That's right. Very nice suit. Yeah, best suit.
Nice.
And don't forget the bulge in all of its glory.
Bulge is top 8. Top grade.
Where else am I gonna keep my stuff? I don't have pockets.
Don't have pockets. Oh my god. Already.
It's actually a thing, if I remember correctly. There was a guy, like the guy that created the bear-proof armor. Does anybody else remember that? There was a guy, so like a couple decades ago, he created a suit of bear-proof armor. Like went out into the wild, tested it out, and all of that stuff. That guy approached the military with a second suit of armor that he created that was intended to be a set, like essentially like prototype power armor. It was not like powered, like it was essentially like bullet resistant, flexible suit of armor. And one of the features of it was that, well, it didn't have pockets or anything, so if you needed to look at your watch, there was a convenient little flip pocket on the crotch where you would have a timepiece. And the military turned him down, saying it would be too expensive to produce for military use.
Wow.
It's Ra remembers it. Yeah,
Yep.
no, that was
Paste the name in chat. Good luck saying that.
Holy moly,
Yeah,
that is hilarious.
yeah, it was yeah, that's the guy's name. No, that was I remember that clearly. And that's aside from just the memery of the big bulge, because there's not really that much in there. Sorry to disappoint. I'm gonna disappoint them so hard. There's it's just like that's all partial inspiration for the gag behind it. It's really funny. It's a little
That is, wow, my God, people on this planet are some interesting motherfuckers, huh?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Speaking of interesting, if you'd like to support the channel, we got pinned to the top of the chat is a Stream Elements link. Greatly appreciate it. And moving on to our topic of discussion, share the screen right here. Where is it? Nope, that isn't it. That's it right there. Hot Dog, The Flood by this one was written by not the person that wrote the first one, right?
Nope.
No.
It's William Dietz. I think that's how you pronounce his last name.
William Dietz nuts. I don't know.
Got him. Yeah, no, the first and third books are both written by Eric Nyland.
Right.
He's actually like
And
he
the
went
fourth
on
book.
to read. He went on to write a bunch of other stuff like Crimson Skies. He actually wrote quite a few books, but yeah, Crimson Skies was another Xbox game that he wrote.
Oh
for.
yeah, I remember that.
So that
Oh
was
no shit.
neat.
Right on. Well, yes, this one to me was a much easier listen. I was gonna say read, but who am I kidding? No, this was a much easier listen just because if you've played Halo 1, like 50% of the book is just describing the events of Halo 1, which it was great.
I would even say like at least 75%, even though you're still getting like even though they do introduce a few new characters, like we'll get into it, but the ODSTs weren't even really involved or anything until they essentially rewrote the canon to include them later. But they're like, aside from a few extra viewpoints and a little bit of side stuff like the ODSTs do, it's essentially just the story.
Yeah.
It's awesome. I really like it.
But yeah, exactly. It's like the story, but I would say more detailed. Well, yeah, obviously, because you got the different perspectives. But just like I don't know, as he described, as the book was describing, just like all the moments in the game, it's like, I never thought of it like the way he described. Just certain descriptions and stuff. Plus, the limitations of the graphics of the time. You're just running and gunning, and you don't really think about like, and then Master Chief flew a certain way and got a hunter. I don't know. It was just interesting to as it was described, the battles were described and all of that, and yeah, it was fun. So the way it starts off, it threw me off because I'm like, what the hell is going on with the very beginning as it prologues, but then it is just a perspective of like a crewmate on the ship that's about to wake up Master Chief. I was like, oh, okay, that's how we're starting here. And then these guys are pretty much, they're just it's a quick little like, the guy, he's on the ship and he's thinking about his wife, and then suddenly, he got an alert to go wake up the guy, and they're like, oh my god. So not too important to the story, but it was a nice little nod to like kind of like set you in with the story.
I feel like a lot of the beginning with this is really written to help tie in the first book, which is great because the first book was amazing in the first place. Having played the game and now rereading this, it's a very nice touch to tie a lot of the stuff together and give a bunch of extra context to some of this stuff. You're seeing things from other people's points of view as they're still shaken from the previous fights. Like it's obvious it hasn't been long at all, and he's just sitting there cursing Keys and praising him at the same time.
Right. Yeah. But yeah, just a quick little story in the prologue, and then chapter 1 is I wrote down here is basically the opening of the game. From
Almost beat for beat, yeah.
Beat for beat, I pictured every moment him being woken up, down to like, hey, look around, is everything all right with your
Come on,
suit?
we gotta get the hell out of here.
Although, I just had something. I forgot it. What did I write
What's
here?
up, AJ? What up, dude? Abomination AJ in chat. Saying, what up,
Hey,
nerd?
how's it going? Oh, and really quick, stream elements for $1 from Stream Tips. If the tip makes a tip, and tips that tip, how many tips a tip? Oh, well, I'm glad you...
Tip.
Just the tip. Good answer. Thank you so much. Stream Tips.
Thank you guys.
Who is Stream Tips? Is that a real person or just like a bot?
I think
It's stream elements. It works the same way as the tips that James and Kay get on their streams.
yeah, except we're on Stream Yards, so no alert's gonna pop off. It's just gonna be in chat, and I'll have to actually read it. But I have an idea who it was. I think it was this guy right here, Mr. Amin Ra.
Why
Bust.
alerts no work?
Why alerts no work? Yeah, sorry. We're on Stream Yards, and so I will pop it up and thank you as the conversation goes. And yeah, what's up, Abomination? How you doing?
So if Paul has to read them, that means that everyone should be tipping like tongue twisters.
Tongue twisters and terrible jokes.
Yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Come at me. I'm gonna get it all your confusing words. Oh, but I do remember what I was thinking. I laughed at one point because they're like, the Master Chief went into his cryostasis in his suit, and I'm like, why was he in his suit? Why did he just take off the suit to go, in his cryostasis? I thought that was kind of odd. Just randomly, I'm like, shouldn't he took the suit off? Like he takes it off. It's not like, I don't know.
Well, technically, like that first iteration of the suit is like way too hard to take off by himself. So,
point.
like, they need all the technicians to take it off, and my guess is there really wasn't any on that ship. There might have been a few, because actually that ship originally was supposed to go on that mission with all the Spartans, but no, they just slapped him into the cooler just so that they could be ready to use him when they need him right away. So, which is funny because the guys were saying like he must be in all kinds of pain because they talk about if you go in with clothes on, you kind of like wake up with your skin all irritated and a lot of pain, almost getting like burned, basically like freezer burn.
Like one mentioned specifically, he had just a bandage on a finger and ended up with the finger like raw.
Ooh.
So
okay.
and it even says like Master Chief came out, like John 117 came out and it fully packed in his suit, and his skin like stinged and burned, but he just like banished the pain from his mind.
Right. That's funny. Yeah, Dirty Dio in chat. What's up, Dirty Dio? He's like, yeah, I thought the same thing. Like, how do you go into stasis in a suit that protects you from vacuum of space? That's funny. And thank you for subscribing, Abomination. You're a legend. Thank you so much. But yeah, no, that was like my first little like, huh? But yeah, that is a good point, that it is like the Iron Man suit where you need a bunch of people to get it on. And so he, after a fight, he probably was like, we gotta go just get in the cryostasis. We'll deal with it later.
Well, and it actually, like, not to spoil it, but in the later in the book, they straight up say like he does take his armor off himself.
That's true. Yeah.
Pieces of it, not full armor. Like he has to. They are trained to do like basically on the field repairs. But like they can't like just start disassembling the whole armor. I mean, it's like locked in there basically.
Good point.
And before we get too far into it, you're absolutely right about like the beat by beat play. Like to the point, like it's something they do so often where they will like, it's like they actually took the guys that wrote the story through the game and let them take notes and everything, because it pays so much attention, where the only real deviations at those points are Master Chief responding when he wouldn't in the game and adding a couple of extra nods to like the new characters, a few other things, to the point like like we mentioned earlier, like, hey, you get out of the cryostasis, and the tech is like, come on, we got to get the hell out of here. And he runs ahead, and the door blows him away. So he steps back, looks, and jumps over a couple of big conduits into a maintenance tunnel. And it's literally just like beat for beat. The entire story is exactly like that.
Yep.
There's no real downtime in this book. It is an amazing read.
It really is. And again, if you yourself have played Halo, like this is, and as a person myself that doesn't read books really at all ever, this was like such an easy. Like it's so easy to follow, because even if I like get distracted as I was listening to the book and then come back to, I'm like, oh yeah, I know what's going on, so it's kind of hard to like ADD out your way out of this one, but
except they still add all the little additions and stuff that they add, the new points
exactly
of view.
So you do
keep it fresh.
Yeah, you need to focus, you do need to pay attention when it's because it's cool, because they not just Master Chief's side, but you got a whole team of ODSTs that are dropping out of the ship at this moment. Beat for beat in the beginning, they, Covenant land on the ship, they're attacking, Master Chief needs to go to Keyes, that whole cutscene goes where Keyes and Master Chief talk, he even hands him his pistol, doesn't even say like, hey, it's only, it's not loaded, but
it's done.
Exactly, and then the whole conversation with Cortana and all that, and then he runs off, and just like in the game, he's fighting through it, and then I think the first time it shows a different perspective is when it switches to the Covenant.
And it's pretty early on too. It switches to the Covenant, I think, immediately after the prologue. Because the prologue, you get the tech that checked to the cryo chamber. Let me just open the book here.
Right. There was that. They didn't introduce.
Oh yeah, no, it's in the prologue. Yeah, it's literally like page 4. You just deal with the Covenant right away.
Yeah, and so then it's Covenant boarding the Pillar of Autumn, and then everyone's you get different perspectives from the Covenant, group of ODSTs, Foehammer, who everyone remembers as the pilot throughout the whole game, that she's trying to escape, and then I think they introduce that spy Covenant, who is hiding himself the entire time, so nobody really sees him. And Keyes and everyone's escaping, everyone's jumping in pods. Everyone I just mentioned, these ODSTs, McKay and Silva, and a whole team, and Foehammer, like I mentioned.
And just pops a cap in him.
And then and then Keyes hops in one of these pods, and I forget the Covenant's name, the elite's name, but he's still hidden in cloak, and he hops into the life pod with Keyes, tries to squish his way in there, hides, stands still, and that badass moment with Keyes, it's like, give me your gun. Did he ask for the gun, or did he just yank it from us?
No, he asked for the gun.
He asked for the gun, and then just bam, shot straight ahead, and fucking then appeared in Elite, and he dropped to the ground. I'm like, oh my god, this is the end of chapter 1. What a fucking that was so badass.
His name was Isna Nosoli.
Nosoli, yes.
Nosoli, yeah.
Now, was he the one that had the real groaner of the line? Now, this is petty, but bear with me.
The what?
The line, animals get more dangerous as the closer they become to extinction.
I think that was a little later, but I don't think that was him.
Character.
I think that was Zamami.
Zamami? I think that may have been Zamami.
Well, we should talk about him because he's in this first chapter, but sorry, go ahead, Insidious.
No, we get there, but that line just drove me nuts. Like, I stopped listening at that point, and I was like, okay, listen. Like, clearly this is trying to show that the guy thinks of his enemies as animals, and they're not, like, evolved at all. But if that were the case, they would not have any concept of what extinction is, and therefore could not grow more dangerous as they get closer to a concept they don't understand. That just drove me off the wall. That was my little Nicky moment of the book, where the writing was just... That being said,
Yeah.
I think the rest of the book's written well, but Mr. Dietz, if your wife is sitting there next to you, have her roll up a newspaper and whack you in the head for that line.
Well, hold on a
Hey,
second. Wait,
that-
let's unpack this. Let's unpack this, Insidious. So you're saying your issue is that he's claiming that the humans don't know what extinction is, even though they're losing colonies left and right. Like millions and millions of humans are dying on a monthly basis.
He's equating them to animals, right?
Yeah,
Right.
That's the point of contention. Is that he sees them as lesser beings, as primitives that don't deserve their existence, and he, like the rest of his race and the prophets, want to wipe them off the face of the galaxy. So he sees them as animals but he recognizes that as a hunter, that the closer that they get to being wiped out, the more ferocious they're going to fight.
Right.
But
which would never
that's
happen.
normal behavior, though.
No, there's no animal on Earth that would understand what the concept of extinction is.
But they would understand the concept of death or being close to death. That's where their animal.
Yeah, but that's not extinction.
The line itself was a little janky, but the concept came through pretty well. I feel like the characterization.
What about the
was
dinosaurs
pretty
in the
fucking
meteor?
good.
Did they become
didn't.
more name one animal that became more dangerous as they became closer to extinction? None of them. None of them understand that concept.
That's
There
a
is
good
no
point.
fucking way.
It is
But
a
that's-
human.
Oh my
But it
god!
shows-
is this
it
gonna be
kinda-
our next turkey and gravy moment?
This is our next turkey gravy moment.
The thing is he's not making the comparison as far as the humans are exactly like animals. He just the
He
aliens,
is.
Well,
but the aliens view humans. They view them as it's weird. They view them as animals, but they still view them as sentient beings. Like they have a conscience. They know how to think. They can build civilization.
actually, the elites really see everything beneath them as like essentially see them as subhuman. They see that they really are, like, aside from the prophets and in many cases the hunters, because that's a thing in the extended lore, is that the hunters are kind of their own fucking caste that see everyone else as lesser, including the elites, though they have some respect for the elites as great warriors. The elites just see everything that's not a prophet or a hunter as like an inferior creature, and that's just the way it is.
I'm pretty sure they call. Sorry, Paul. I'm pretty
Go
sure
ahead.
that the elites refer to the humans as animals multiple times, if not in this book, in several books going forward as well. And it's just like Imp said, they just view humans as an inferior race. I'm not saying. I understand what you're saying there, Insidious, about the whole like animals don't understand the concept of extinction. I just think it's like kind of a cool line, like just what he's equating them to.
And
Yes.
I guarantee you, William thought, like, oh man, I got a banger here. God damn it. It's the stupidest fucking line.
Listen,
I mean, it's like
I love how
it's
that's
like Halo. It's like
you.
Halo 2 when they talked about like we need to make sure that you use this line in here somewhere, and the guy managed to pull it off. It was actually like I am a testament to all your sins. Like that was
Monument
actually a
to all your
cool
sins,
line.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm a monument to all your sins. That's the right.
I will
that's the
give.
right line.
I get it. I fully agree that is a dumb concept. I will say this: it illustrates the ignorance of the elites and the Covenant, and it shows that they underestimate the humans. So it could, like, because he really thinks that way, but then here comes Master Chief, one dude, and he just fucking wipes out your whole fucking thing. So I totally get it. It does sound stupid as fuck, because animals don't know they're going extinct. That is a very good point. And yeah, that is, when you think about it, when you put it under a microscope, nothing's gonna make sense. But that's hilarious. But no, it shows that the elites, at least, that they really underestimate the power of not just Master Chief, but the humans in general, because they've been fighting back, they've been kicking ass. At one point, someone's like, "How are they?" Or maybe that was in the last book, no, I think it was this book where someone's like, "How are they beating us with such primitive weapons?" They're using like ballistics instead of
Projectile,
energy.
yeah.
They're like using projectiles. Like, how are they beating us? But by hold, they're kicking your fucking ass.
Yeah,
And you know,
when they capture Keys later in the book, they like, not to spoil that yet until before we get there, but he flat out just grabs a gun, says projectiles, primitive.
yeah,
tosses
yeah,
the weapon aside.
that's right. Yeah, so it really shows.
I think I understand what Bliss was trying to share. I think it's funny that hung you up on the book when you got to it.
I love it.
Oh, yeah,
I-
just trust
That
me.
was a
That's how my
line.
brain works. I heard
That
that.
was,
I
that
just
was
heard
one of the
that's good,
lines
though.
of all time.
Like
That's-
William's got to be sitting there thinking, like, when the last Dodo was out there, like all of a sudden that motherfucker became a Super Saiyan.
I love it.
If only we might have a Dodo left.
That is
Exactly.
hilarious. Patience.
All right, sorry.
Hi-
Continue.
No, you're good. Just shout out to Patience in chat. How you doing? And she's saying, "Nah, that's some 343 stuff." But all right. So chapter 1 ends with that badass moment with Keys, and then chapter 2 is pretty much them landing on Halo. It starts off with the ODSTs. They're hell dropping into the they're hell dropping down onto the Halo, and did I write this down right? They fight 100 ghosts right off the bat and try to capture a.
Yeah, they're
And
trying to capture a butte, so they have like a
Yes.
better vantage point, and they can build a base. Because the Covenant they already landed on the ring, and they established their operations, so they're just trying to like take over what they have. I don't remember if it was 100. I'm trying to look through it right now. Maybe Imp can pull it up a little bit more quickly.
Trying to find that too.
It was a lot of ghosts, though. Yeah,
It wasn't. Yeah, I remember
later
the
on,
word.
They fought a lot of ghosts too.
It was
Yeah,
actually like what struck me pretty quickly about that thing was descriptions about the Hell Jumpers, the ODSTs,
yes.
which you didn't get a lot of in the first book. Was them describing like, okay, it's an all volunteer unit explicitly for the extra crazy motherfuckers that are willing to risk their lives in such a dangerous way, and like they straight out describe like the way that they go in with their actual their, what are they called? Human the HEVs, human fucking, what's it called?
HEIVs. I'll look it up while you talk.
Okay. But yeah, they
It's
actually
basically hell divers.
yeah, they get into their pods, and the pods all like they understand that the pods all have a chance of just cracking and burning up in the atmosphere on entry. It's just flat out like, this is the death. They straight up say like, this is the death that everyone fears but no one talks about.
Yeah. That was
They're about to dig their own grave.
yeah.
That's
For
what
sure.
caught me.
Yes.
100%. Like, there's
And-
so much more of the ODST in this book than there is in the first one at all. And I never
Yeah.
played ODST, so I'm much less knowledgeable about that. So that just struck me right away.
Right on. Yeah. A couple.
An entry vehicle, by the way. HEV. my bad.
HEV. Okay.
Right on.
That's right.
Yeah.
Thank-
So I love the way they were describing it. You know, it's basically a fucking human bullet that's being shot down, and certain layers start peeling off. Parachutes are coming out. Certain parachutes aren't going off. Then backups are going off. Some people don't make it. Like you said, it's the risk that no one talks about. And that was a pretty interesting scene. And yeah, like I said, I don't know if I wrote that down right, but maybe they're exaggerating. But it's like, oh, what may have seemed like 100 ghosts, but damn, man, how many landed? Like 200? No.
It was more than that. It was quite a bit.
It was quite a bit. So for them
they
to
had-
fight off,
Yeah, they
100
had more than 200 soldiers.
okay, but ODSTs, yeah, there was just
ODST.
a handful of them, but they did meet up and group up with like, what they counted up to be like 200 soldiers and personnel, I think. But
there
yeah,
were less than 50. Weren't
less
there?
than 50 ODSTs.
I'm getting my numbers
I'm pretty
confused.
sure it was a lot, because remember, this was like an ODST battalion, and
Yeah.
the guy Major
yeah, you're
Silva,
right.
who you'll get introduced to here in a minute, he was basically in charge of that entire ground operation, and it just sounded like, I'm looking for the numbers right now. It sounded like it was a lot, like over 100 at least, of just hardcore ODSTs. Because remember, this Pillar of Autumn was supposed to go on a special mission with Spartans to capture a Covenant cruiser. So they weren't gonna just send normal Marines. They would have sent other special forces as well. But I'll try to see if I can find this number for us.
That's a great
Right.
point,
But yeah, no. So again, back to what Insidious was talking about, how the elites underestimate the humans. Hey, look at these guys fighting them off. I was impressed. I was like, damn, they're like fighting. What? I think it said 100 ghosts, but I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers took down that many, and even managed to capture a spot, start setting up a base without Master Chief. Big ups, fucking.
Yeah, no, they're seasoned veterans, absolutely. And I think the biggest thing that gets them compared to Master Chief, which is a similar thread that I've noticed to the Covenant, is that they fight for glory. Their heads are not always where they need to be, and they stay calm and calculated. They do have a lot of tactical advantage, which is what happens with the that's the Covenant's problem. Everyone's sitting there wondering, like, how do the Covenant keep losing to the humans in some of these ground engagements? And the problem is that despite their advanced technology, the elites being like 8-foot tall monstrosities with massive strength and incredible weapons that could just kill a person in 2 shots, they lose out on tactics, because the elites are all very the elites are very like gung-ho, be the first to get a kill, fight for glory, and if you're gonna die, then you take someone out with you. Where the Marines, even the ODSTs, which are still very like, we fight, we die, hoorah, we're gonna take out as many as we can because fuck you guys. They use the tactics to their advantage because that's what they've got. That's their advantage.
Plus, I think it shows a bit that like humanity, once it's threatened, it's they're more of a team. Humans are more of a team than this fucking group of a bunch of different aliens put together. They're trying to force a bunch of different, and even later in the book, grunts and jackals are fucking talking shit with each other. Like, how are you gonna be effective as a unit if you're not a unit, and the humans are a unit? Hell yeah.
Yeah, because like in the game, like the humans are mostly like comic relief, but the book does a great job of like showing like, no, actually they have their stuff together, they're fighting for their lives.
Yeah. And
it feels like in the later years of the war, because the war had been raging for decades, right? Like like 24 years, I believe the book said. They something like that. It feels like in the later years of the war, the humans had really managed to develop some excellent weaponry that was able to take out like Covenant shielding and do other stuff. Like the power that they do have at their disposal really is incredible, and you see that throughout the book. Like, you could take out an elite, like a weaker rank elite, in 2 or maybe 3 salvos, like bursts from an assault rifle or something. 27 years. Sam Lewis got it right. Yeah.
What's up, Sam? How you doing? Yeah, 27 years. Thank you.
I would rather someone correct me than assume that.
Right. Thank you, chat. This is what book club. The book club's not just for the panelists. People in chat also participate. Nerdy Neo said, "Did anyone actually read the book?"
I've got it in hand. I'm reading it right now.
Heyo.
Answer the previous question about how many people online. It's saying a few hundred, and it references a specific page in the book. I'm guessing Imp probably has the first print, so it would be page 33 through 36.
33 to 36.
It would say something along the lines like a few hundred men, or meaning both men and women. So
humans.
Yeah.
Yeah, if this book were written today, the language would be different. Let's just say. There are a few things, like, as former military, we talked about this before, there are a few things that grate on me, and a few things I actually really appreciate, as someone who was in the Navy specifically. And I don't know if anyone else noticed the language. Like, obviously, before clip versus magazine, it's a fucking magazine.
Yeah.
They do use those interchangeably, but they do use magazine. They don't just stick exclusively to clip. But repeatedly throughout the story, they refer to Master Chief as a non-com. Does anyone else know what that means?
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Non-commissioned officer?
Exactly. Because in the military, especially in the Navy when it matters, once you reach the point of E4 rank, you go from regular enlisted, you go from like a fireman or a corpsman or a seaman to a petty
Sorry.
officer. And a petty officer is a non-commissioned officer. It's
Right.
technically an officer rate without being an officer rate, right? You're still enlisted, but you're technically supposed to be building yourself up to be a leader. And that's what officers are supposed to be. It's just you're an enlisted rate, so you're still specialized in your general field as compared to officers in the military who are expected to be the flexible gung-ho leadership types that focus a lot more on like the expected stuff. The big difference between today and in the book is that officers in this story, in this world, they're expected to do everything and put themselves in the same danger as all of their troops. You see that with ODST especially. They're all on the front line, even if they still have to maintain some semblance of command and it may be necessary being in back. Like, you see it later. Like, the officers are on the front lines taking the hits too. It's a neat thing. I really appreciate that.
Right on. Nice little attention
I guess
to
the
detail.
author was in the Navy and the Marine Corps.
Ah.
Oh, okay.
So he would know that detail, but not the detail of goofy writing and
Well,
No, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, all of a sudden, like, he probably ate a lot of crayons. Makes sense.
hopefully
he got hit in the head. No.
I think that was after the time when they started making him non-toxic. He's probably okay.
Yeah, he's probably okay.
Man, imagine how many crayons he could buy with the money from this book. Eating like a king.
Eating like a king, my god. Let me see what else I got here. Alright, so yeah, chapter 2 basically describing Master Chief crash landing on the Halo and doing that whole, running across the bridge, fighting banshees, beat for beat like the first level of Halo. Let me see here. Oh, also I think they did introduce. Oh no, they introduced it here. I think on the Covenant side, they introduce Zamami and his little grunt buddy. Yayap.
Oh, I love Yayap.
I love Yayap too. He's the best. And so apparently, the elite Zamami got fucking shot down by Master Chief, and Yayap found his ass laying on the ground, and it was like, was it on the Pillar of Autumn? Did he like drag him off
Yes,
the pillar? Yeah,
it was on the Pillar of Autumn.
Yeah, he
So
dragged him back to a vehicle and said, "We're gonna retreat. We're gonna take this guy." And all his cohorts like, "But why?
Yeah.
If we take him back, then we could get off this rig and go back to sleep."
And that's literally it. It's like, if we rescue him, he's our ticket back. We could just leave and go back to sleep. We won't die.
Yeah, it's so funny.
Oh, it's amazing. That you talk about comic relief.
Yeah, I I loved it for sure. And so I think in chapter 2 here is when Zamami gets back on his feet, thanks Yayap, and it bestows the honor of hiring him as his grunt, basically, as his slave boy.
Yep.
His whipping bitch.
Oh,
And he's like, no, it's cool. I don't want it. He's like, no, it is the greatest honor. And he's like, fuck.
"It's too late. Your name has already been added to the rolls. Gather your supplies, say goodbye to your cohort, and meet me back here in 15 units."
That's right. That's exactly what it was. Oh, great. I love that storyline. We'll progress. That's pretty much how that ends on that chapter. And then also in chapter 2, we get Keys trying to crash land the Pillar of Autumn onto Halo, which was pretty intense. And I think that's how chapter 2 ends.
Well, there was also... Wait, am I crazy? Wasn't chapter 2 also where they talk about like taking Alpha Base? Or did I skip out? Or is that coming up next?
I think they've ODST's landed.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm getting my chapters and my sections mixed up.
Oh,
They-
right.
They have the game levels as sections, but multiple chapters could make up one section. That's my
Right. Yeah. So yeah, ODSTs had, I think, established the area. They won the battle, and I think right at the end of that battle, they're like, "All right, look at, you see that butte over there? Let's go get it." But I think, yeah, that's about it in chapter 2.
Well, real quick, fascinating thing while I have Dietz's information up here. So not only did he do The Flood, he was also writing Star Wars novels featuring Kyle Katarn.
Oh,
Huh.
He wrote books in the Resistance universe, Mass Effect, Hitman, and StarCraft.
right on.
Also wrote the script for Legion of the Damned game, which explains a lot.
Uh-oh. Nerdy Dio says William Dietz was also the one who wrote the awful 4th Mass Effect book. So he's got hit and misses.
I'm
I
liking
see.
him more and more.
I mean, to be fair, at least for me, this is the weakest of the 4 original Halo books. And it definitely is because of the author's writing. Because Eric Nyland, just his writing, besides the turkey and gravy, I think just is definitely he knows how he's writing the books versus this guy, which he's got the military background, which is really nice. But as Liz pointed out, talking about animals understanding the concept of extinction, maybe there's some creative writing that he could have taken while he was using his GI Bill. So
Yeah. That's
I
Nicely
think
done. Nicely
I
done.
actually, the more I think about it, the more I agree. Like that, because that line is just really awkward. I think it would have served them better if he had just said something more along the lines of the closer to death, basically an animal trapped in a corner. If you
right.
If you trap an animal in a corner and threaten its life, it's gonna lash out at you.
Mm-hmm. There you go. Another way to just illustrate that the elites really don't think much of the humans. And yeah, no, that is funny. That is a funny. Yeah, that's just hilarious that you caught that and you're like, "Fuck that shit," because I didn't even notice. I was like, oh, "Yeah, cool, whatever, dude." That's too funny. Let me see. Sam's in chat saying also felt much slower than a ton of fighting scenes it had copy from the game. Oh, right.
Yeah, the
For
best
sure.
parts about this book is just anything that's not game related, because it's all new material. You get to see a different perspective of like what's happening, especially the tension between Chief and Silva, as well as the communications between them two, and also
Zammerman.
the Covenant side. Yeah. Like that's like the best part of the book. I mean, it's nice reading, like, because I was listening to the book and listening to it, and like like Paul said, you're like hearing lines from the game. You're like, okay, I know where we're at in the book. But
Yeah.
I started paying attention more every time it's not game related, because
Yes.
it's like I play the game so many times, like I know what happens. I want to.
Oh yeah,
I want to
exactly.
relive the
100%.
non-game moments.
Yeah, so many times that you can hear the voices in your head when you read those lines.
Yeah.
Even
yeah.
if they're like slightly changed, I can still hear it in their voice,
Yes.
talking about
If
like
it's not-
Alpha Base or the ODSTs.
Yeah.
Unless you listen to like an Australian narrator, like
Ah.
somebody.
There are Australian narrators. It's great.
I mean, that's why I got like the book, right?
There you go. Oh, so Master Chief trucked down the hill there, saw an elite, popped him in the ass.
One
I
thing
wanna
I do
hear that.
appreciate is the they don't waste much time with the actual battle sequences. For the most part, they do talk about like, oh well, the initial, like, we'll get to it later, like a couple of the fights here and there they talk about, like, it took 15 minutes to clear this beachhead, or it took 10 minutes to do this whole section. It's like, it does not take that long in the game. If you're slow on a higher difficulty, maybe it'll take a minute or two, but they do an excellent job just like abbreviating it and saying like, oh well, he tossed a grenade and with a satisfying whoomp it blew and knocked two guys off their feet and they slumped to the ground. It does a very good job punctuating that and making it very, very quick but to the point.
Yeah, I gotta shout out again the same narrator from the last book narrated this book, or at least the version I heard, and I loved anytime some explosive goes off because this dude is into it. I love this narrator because like, and then the grenade went off with a loud crack. It's just
Yep.
He's gonna start screaming. He backs away. You can tell he backed away from the mic just to whack.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeehaw!
Yeah. This guy was into it. He did all the voices great. He did the elites great. Everyone, man. Shout out to the narrator. I'm blanking on his name. What was it again?
Oh, I'm blanking on his name too because we listen to the same guy. Wait till the next book. The next book, because there's some important characters in the next book. It's really good. It's weird how he does the first 3 books and then the 4th book is somebody else. You just kind of miss him. You're like, no, I miss this guy.
Yeah,
Todd McLaren.
Todd McLaren, yes.
Okay. Yep.
Shout out Todd McLaren. Great fucking.
I'm actually
narrator.
just like reading a physical paperback book. And so
Yeah.
I'm not even doing even doing like the audiobook. Hello.
Right. But no. If you ever do, I recommend. If you ever want to do a second listen of the book, I recommend it. Especially like, if you have Spotify or just look up. Like I said, they do have like on YouTube random people narrating it. But look up the one for Todd McLaren. He does a very good job. Hell yeah! And shout out to Pop Culture Mechanic. What's going on, buddy? How you doing? Hell yeah. All right, so chapter 3 opens up with Master Chief.
Master Chief.
Hey now.
That's what you call someone that takes you on a first date to McDonald's. Master Chief. Anyways.
Master Chief.
Chief meets up with Sergeant Johnson in that one little area of the game where they're taking up that little building as a stronghold and fighting off waves of enemies.
Yeah, that's the first one, right? That's the first structure you see after he crosses the bridge, like right at the very beginning.
Yeah. And yeah, that's where Sergeant Johnson is, and that's where you meet him the first time. Let's see. Also, yeah, after that battle, Foehammer shows up, dropping a warthog, and then they drive into the cave, which is an ancient structure. Oh yeah. When they drive down into the cave thing, that's when they go down that whole turning on the fighting off the things and turning on the light bridge thing to continue across. I love that. I
really love the little detail there,
yes,
where he takes his time to clear out stuff. Like, not only like they make it sound so much more dangerous than it was in the game, unless you're on like legendary difficulty, obviously.
Right.
But it makes it sound so dangerous clearing out that many Covenant that are surrounding him, and it would be, tactically speaking, in that situation, that would be an incredibly bad position to be in. But I love the detail specifically where he says like, okay, I think I've cleared everything out, so there's a ramp over here on the side, and I'm gonna slowly walk my way up, and as soon as he rounds the corner, there's an elite right there. Like, that's exactly the same way it's set up in the fucking game.
It is.
Love that detail.
I was gonna say, you guys, we mentioned it real quick, but I'm almost definite that this author had a full gameplay video of the whole game, and he probably just studied that tape, and because that attention to detail was beautiful. I'm like, oh, as he's walking up there, I'm like, are the elites gonna be there? And then bam, bam, boom, I'm like, oh, they are there, fucking throwing a grenade just like I would too. It's great because there's points in the story as they're describing the battle, that's why I'm like, that's exactly what I would have done. Thrown a grenade right here, and that's great. But yeah, so then he goes up that ramp, takes out those elites, and this is when I need to bring up something that was brought up on the Halo 3 book club we did, where Mr. Insidious Bliss blew my mind. He wasn't there, but he was in chat, and he informed us of this whole thing that was gonna happen, but then Microsoft retconned everything. The whole, the Forerunners were humans. And right here, in this spot, I noticed. I started, ever since Bliss said that fucking whatever, like 3 weeks ago, I've been paying attention to things, and right here, when he turned on that light bridge, the story made a very, it's like, oh, it's as if it was familiar to him, as if he knew what he was doing, or something along those lines. And I was like, oh, that's proof.
Yeah, that's a very telling addition to the thing.
Yes,
Yep.
and clear even in this book right here, and this came out in 2003, which is I think around the time Halo 2 was coming out.
A year before, because Halo 2 was, I believe, 2004.
Right, right. So yeah, so originally they had this plan to, make it so that the Forerunners were just either not ancient alien, but like ancient humans. We've progressed to high technology, and then shit happens, and they make things, they disappear, and their technology sticks around. And right then, that was one spot I really paid attention to and even wrote it down. I was like, oh, the way they described it totally fits, the whole thing. And I'm like, oh, like my brain can't handle Halo the right way anymore, because it drives me crazy that they retconned it, because I kind of like that idea. I love ancient aliens.
Yeah.
You said Microsoft was the reason for retconning it?
Well, so Frank O'Connor, he was the one that went from Bungie to 343 Studios. He started doing it in like the terminals of, I think, Halo 3.
Okay.
So, but yeah, the original lead up was, and they even still have it in there. You can see it in the game where, like, was it Guilty Spark says, "You are Forerunner."
Yeah.
Master
Yeah,
Chief?
yeah.
Yeah. And then for whatever reason, Frank O'Connor just changed it and decided to make them their own race. Made a bunch of changes. So
Okay.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. And I think even in that video you sent me, Insidious, I think at one point they're saying that like even Microsoft was we want to make it so that because I think they're about to own, because they own 343, right? Or
Yes,
they-
it's
yes,
part of the
yes.
Xbox Game Studio.
so as they were in talks with, like, hey, you from Bungie, Frank, let's keep the story open ended so we could do whatever the fuck we want with it. I think Microsoft had a little bit of a little bit of say in it, so a little bit of turning the ship fucking 180 degrees while it's being steered, because like I said, they've already kind of laid down the foundation for that kind of what's the word, like Pandora's box opening, or like a Shyamalan twist, a big twist.
Right.
at
M.
the
Night
end.
Shyamalan ding dong. Yeah.
and I think it
Microsoft
takes away
is,
some of the depth. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah,
no,
yeah.
Microsoft is just like any big publisher in that regard, where they don't think about it from the aspect of the story and the presentation and this. They think about it from money and numbers and crunch. So how do we make it more efficient? How do we save the money? How much do we have to spend? So if they turn around and they say, no, we're releasing it on this date, or if they turn around and they say, I don't like that story point, that's not going to resonate with the kids because they
Right.
think themselves the arbiters of good taste,
Right.
then they're going to step in and they're going to do something stupid like that.
Perhaps
And I'm not surprised.
Perhaps they were thinking like, oh, if the Forerunners were human, then that's not another enemy to fight in the game. That would be an ally or something once it was, and they're like, we don't need more allies, we need more enemies in the game. More aliens, bang, 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 bang. So, I don't know. Who knows what they're thinking, but I do kind of wish they went with that. Although James disagreed, because I think, what was it? I think there was another Star Trek. I think Star Trek did the same thing, and he's like, "That's the stupidest fucking thing I've ever heard." I'm like, I don't know. I kind of like this ancient alien human theory, but yeah, no.
Yeah,
So
'cause I think it gives the depth, because like you can see like some of the mistakes that the Forerunners made, the humans are kind of doing, right? Like the evil of like the Spartan program and what they did to do that. Like
right,
you can see some of that stuff, or the fact, I think the video points out, like their architecture is even starting to become more and more like Forerunner architecture. So
right.
I don't know. To me, it just takes away like so much of the story of like, you could really do a lot of cool things with that. Like, does Master Chief and the humans change the
Yeah.
future so that we're not doomed to repeat the mistakes? But
Right. Because, like you said, the similarities between current day humans and the Spartan program and the Forerunners building Halo, it's kind of like the same thing. It's like, we need to build something to protect us, and and it ultimately, on the Forerunners end, it led to their demise. and who knows where the future holds for the humans. But as I read that part again, it kind of like a knife in the side, like what could have been, like it was right there. But yeah, no, I was like, all right, I can't wait to get to this light bridge part, because there's that first hint that they originally were sliding in there that the Forerunners were human. And I'm like, damn. But that was a fun little nod that even the author knew to put in there. I wonder is William Dietz still alive? I'd love to know if he knew to write that in there. Did they give him instructions or something like that? But
He is, but
man.
he's like 80.
That would be such an incredible like interview
yeah,
if someone managed to nail that. Like
yeah,
talking about it. I'm sure there's things he wouldn't be able to talk about or wouldn't want to at any rate. Like talking about some of the interesting things that you could glean from from sources like him, being like, yeah, so what were your experiences with this, and what would it be like to talk about? Like that would be awesome. I'd love to see that interview.
hell yeah. Alrighty, let's see. Continuing chapter 3, Lightbridge turns on. He drives off, gets rescued by Foehammer, and that's, I think, the end of Chief's story. Then it goes into Keyes. Oh, Keyes and Dowski. Keyes crash lands on Halo, and him and his, like, how many people are with him? Like a decent amount of officers and Marines, right? And so one of his officers, Dowski, she starts flipping out, man. And becomes a fucking Covenant sympathizer.
Yeah, in a way, yeah.
I like to, I like taking things and just turn it, crude layman's terms, just the dumbest. But yeah, no. So that was very interesting. I was like, as I was listening to this, I was like, this crazy bitch, tell her to shut the fuck up.
Yeah, you wanted somebody there to put a hole in her or something, because of her actions was going to basically jeopardize everybody.
So Officer Dowski's like, we need to give up. Let's just submit to the Covenant. They'll take it easy on us. And Keyes is like, bitch, give me your gun. Give me your everything. We're leaving you here.
It's like, you know what? You're right. So you have permission to surrender. Bind her, take her weapons, relieve her of everything she's got, and leave her here.
Yep. That was gangster. That was the most gangster things that Keyes laying down the law, busting down Covenant, telling bitches they crazy.
And the funny part is that they probably would have gotten away with it if they just capped her in the head and said moving on.
Yes, because, oh my god, if they'd done that, Keyes would be alive pretty much.
Yeah, because what happens next is exactly what she didn't think was going to happen, because she literally, like, gets captured by the Covenant. It does not take much convincing to lead them directly to Keyes.
Yep.
That's that's one difference from the book that I noticed too. Near the end of that second level in the game, Cortana tells you, like, I'm monitoring the Covenant BattleNet. They have Captain Keyes. They captured him and almost all of the remaining surviving command crew. But in this book, they literally just, like, fucking shoot them all and just knock Keyes out.
Yes.
That's the one big difference that I noticed.
Right on, yeah, because they, at first, the Covenant were like, we don't know who's the leader here. They all look the fucking same to us.
Yeah.
And then
the monkeys look all the same to us.
Yeah. And then the Officer Dowski, who got captured by the Covenant, is like, he's the one, ratting ass bitch. Snitches get stitches, bitch. So then they cap her. I should do a Hood book club where I just. So, anyways, bitch got capped in the. But no, yeah. So they find out Keyes is, eventually, because she rats him out, Keyes is the guy they want. And yeah, okay, so you're saying in the original book they take everyone, and they
captured almost the entire surviving command crew. So
Wow.
basically everyone that was on the bridge that evacuated in that final shuttle with Keys,
Yeah.
they captured every one of them that was alive.
But in this version,
In the book, they just don't. They
Wow.
don't. They fucking murder everyone. They're just like, yeah, no, we don't need you. Pop. Oh, projectiles. Primitive. All right, take them away.
Yep. Oh my god. All right, and then yes, here is I wrote down where ODST captured Butte. That's when they finally establish Alpha Base. Yeah, realizing it's some ancient building. There, is it? It was a.
That's
Well,
a
since
forerunner structure.
it's a forerunner structure, right. All right, because I wrote here. I was at that time. I was confused. I'm like, wait, was that a forerunner structure or was it a covenant structure? But yeah, forerunner. And then this is where Silva and ODST Silva and McKay are celebrating the victory, celebrating that they got the Alpha Base set up, and Master Chief shows up, and that's when they lay down the plan and have a conversation. Silva's trying to pull rank, but it's like, we still need this fucking guy, and at some point they find out that and then they disclose that they found out that Keys got captured.
Yeah.
And that is when they get ready to head over to the Truth and Reconciliation Covenant ship. But before Chapter 3 ends, go back to the Covenant, and we got Zamami and Yayep meeting the Council, and that's when they're like trying to have the discussion where like, we need to get this human. This motherfucker is trouble over here. And they're like, one human's not big problem. But then,
Demon, yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, they don't refer to him as the demon yet. Well, you
Yeah.
also have to. There's also the first like really telling incident between Silva and Master Chief, because without Captain Keys, Silva is the ranking officer on Halo, and flat out just tells him like, I don't fucking like you.
yeah,
You are a freak and part of a failing program, and me and my ODSTs will prove that you are not needed.
yeah.
And Master
yeah.
Chief flat out just like, I don't understand.
Yeah,
Like he's like, do you get me? Sir, no, sir. Just like in pure defiance. Like, I don't understand what the fuck you're thinking.
yeah.
It's interesting because Silva really has some kahunas on him, considering that Chief is standing in front of him like out of armor. So he's like, he's a big human being to be like basically talking a lot of trash to, especially
Yeah.
with his service record and everything.
Well,
But that
wasn't
just
he
shows-
like fully enhanced and everything? Isn't he like not only is he fucking massive, like enhanced musculature, but also like fucking ceramic titanium plated bones? He's like 350,
Yes.
400 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, that is a guy that if you pissed him off, he could just snap your neck in a heartbeat. And with his enhanced speed and everything, like, he's lucky that Master Chief is just very mission focused or mission oriented. Like, he doesn't. It's not that he's not smart. It's literally that he's just full mission oriented military. Like, I have a mission to do, and it is not on me to sacrifice anybody. Like, he doesn't. He has not a thought of that in his head.
It's almost robotic, how
Yeah.
much of a soldier he is. Yeah.
almost like he was brainwashed into
Yes.
doing it.
And I think even during this back and forth between Silva and Master Chief, like, he brings up like what happened in the last book in the gym, where he's like, "You killed 2 of my men" or whatever. It's like, yo, he killed 2 of you, like 3 of your guys just by fucking knocking. Why are you talking to him this way? Yeah. So
It's a good callback to the first book too.
yes.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah,
brutal
same thing
moment.
written down.
Yeah. Let's see here.
Oh, you guys
Yes.
are writing shit down?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
I-
called
Dude,
I need
gotta
notes.
take notes.
I take notes.
I'm not. I've just got the book in hand.
That's beautiful.
I was
Yeah.
like,
No.
I just finished reading it. It'll be fine. Wait, what page is that on again?
Yeah. I also wrote here, Keys is still a badass, so I think as they're fucking trying to capture him, he's still like, I ain't telling you shit.
He's just like, yeah, just fucking kill me.
Right.
I love all the little shit with Yap and Zamami running into Keys on the thing.
Yeah.
Like, Jesus
Yeah.
Christ. And the very end of that too is like Yap didn't know how, but he had a feeling Keys had won.
Yes. Exactly. That's why I wrote down Keys is still a badass because
Keys is absolutely a badass.
Can we get a Halo Captain Keys game? I'd love that.
Which part was your favorite chapter? I like the part where he ferried her around to go kidnap little kids.
Yeah. Hey, that could be the opening of the game, man. That'd be fucking awesome.
It would almost have to be, yeah.
That'd be a great whatchamacallit. And then you could go into like earlier battles of his life, do that portion where he's, meeting up John, and then Keys thought of a battle, and then bam, that's where you do your tutorial of first person shooting and stuff like that.
And then book.
There you
I'll
go.
have to go read that, yeah. I don't have it. I'd have to find that one. I'd have to find a book or an audiobook.
Yeah, that's a good book. Yeah.
Right on. Hell yeah.
To add more to this chapter, we get to see more of the Covenant political system,
Yeah.
the hierarchy, how they report to each other, like their culture. And it's interesting because if you're reading this back in the day, right? This is a year before Halo 2 comes out. This is basically like a teaser of what you're going to see in Halo 2.
Exactly.
And I think that's pretty neat that I didn't read this back in 2003, but it would have been really cool to read this and be like, oh, these aliens are much cooler than we realized from playing just the first game.
Yeah, and then the second game comes out and you're like, holy shit, I'm playing the Covenant. Yeah, no, you're right. That would have been awesome. The books, I kind of wish, I was like a 20-something-year-old, back when these games were coming out, because, to have read the books, get hyped for it, and then play through the first game, and then read this book and be like, what? You get to see the Covenant side? And then, that would have been dope. I was thinking that, too. I was like, man, that's funny that this is the book that they first show the Covenant side, and the second game is where you get to actually play them. So I wonder if they had the same idea around like 2002. We're like, oh, let's start seeing the perspective on the other side. Or I wonder if that was their plan all along. That is, yeah. Alrighty. Anything else? It's chapter 3, chapter 4. I got here sneaking the sneaking onto the Truth and Reconciliation, that dark level with the snipers and all that. Yeah. That was great.
I love the way they describe like all the fights with the shades and everything. Like something very interesting. I don't have like personal experience with it, but from everything that I've seen, it's actually relatively realistic seeing a sniper that has to take on multiple targets, taking his time, lining up a shot, spin around to line up the next shot, and then take his time to go back and forth while he's still in cover to make sure that he could do it in one fluid practiced motion. Like, that's something that you don't see. Like, I was expecting something like that to just be like a casual, like, okay, so he lined up his targets, and then he just shot them. But no, like, that's actually a really neat touch. The little details like that are awesome.
Yeah.
I was going to say, is this like Trump commentary?
What, you don't like my Trump hands?
He was sniping.
I specifically requested this as one of my PNGs. I do have another one with like shoulder shrugs, but
no, I love the Trump hands.
I mean, I could go to this one if you want. I could. I mean, you get this one. Like, I don't know. Or oh right, sorry. You see behind the. I'll just go back to the Trump hands for now.
I love it. I was very bad at taking notes during this chapter, apparently, because all I wrote was that teams went up to get supplies on Pillar of Autumn.
Yes, so I want to talk about that real quickly. So we mentioned how this book mimics Combat Evolved, but there's also another game that takes some notes from this book. I don't know if you guys would know which game that would be. It's not an official Halo game, like as far as like a console game.
Oh,
I actually don't know that one off the top of my head.
It's pretty new, but it's the arcade game known as Halo Fireteam Raven.
I've played that in arcades, but I never finished it. So I know what you're talking about exactly.
Yeah, so that game, basically, you play as 4 ODSTs under Silva, and you're actually doing... one of the main missions you do is to go to the Pillar of Autumn after it's crashed to try to, like, set up a security perimeter. And then there's other missions, of course, but that one mission comes to mind when I'm reading this chapter, or getting to that point, I should say. And it's pretty cool because Silva, is in that arcade game, as well as the AI Wesley.
Oh,
which
shit.
is pretty funny AI. And then there's another character as well. But yeah, anyways, like those characters are in the game. You get to hear them talk, and you're part of the story.
Are you talking about
well.
McKay?
Yeah, McKay. Or
No,
McKay I think was
with
with
the game.
Yeah. But
Yeah,
I think was she on that? But was she on that squad to go to the Pillar of
She was
Autumn?
in charge of that. Yeah, she was in charge of that.
Right.
Mission. But it's just cool that like an arcade game ties into the first game as well as a little bit of this book as well. So
Yeah,
Right
that's all
on.
nice.
Yeah, that is cool. Yeah.
Apparently,
So-
I need to go to Dave and Buster's.
Yeah, that's
I
really
hate
good.
that it's a Dave and Buster's game, but
It's a
'cause I
Dave and
don't-
Buster.
That's
Yeah.
weird because the one I played it, the one time I played it, it wasn't at a Dave and Buster's. So I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
you can find it at other arcades.
It's
Interesting.
there's a brand of arcade games. I think they're called Raw Thrills. Is it? They and basically they're all like specifically designed. Like I believe that they were actually designed and commissioned for purchase by Dave and Buster's, but you can find them all over the fucking place. But the
Yeah, it
primary
was
place you would
initially
ever find
released
them, yeah.
exclusively to Dave and Buster's. but
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh
released
shit.
internationally.
That's hilarious.
Yeah, I highly recommend if you haven't, go play it. It's a lot of fun. I mean, it's like Halo but arcade, and you just can't go wrong with it. You could do it in one sitting too, which is nice if you got if you're a good shot.
Decent. And
had
you said
no
what
idea.
kind of game it was?
It's basically Halo, an arcade shooter, like your
Yeah,
typical
it's a
like
rail
you sit in a
Rail
booth.
rails?
Yeah, rail shooter. Yeah.
Oh, with
rail
a
shooter.
gun?
Yep.
Oh.
Yeah,
Like
I'll
House of
link-
the Dead?
Yeah.
Basically, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah,
that's
here.
awesome.
And it is Raw Thrills. I just tagged you in the private chat with it.
No.
But yeah, you can just scroll through like the Jurassic Park arcade game. Everyone and their fucking mother knows that one.
That
Like
was-
that's
yeah,
that's
awesome.
like one of the biggest ones, but they've got so many. And if you look at them, you'll recognize a lot of their old stuff
It's-
too.
It's a 4-player game.
Yeah,
it's four-player. It's got 2 whole fucking screens too. Like you sit 4 people side by side, and it's like 2 curved screens, and you pick a spot out of the 4, and you like if you put 2 people in there, you can get one whole TV screen to yourself. Kind of fucking nice.
Bro.
it's a nice experience, man.
I gotta find a Dave and Buster's. You
Yeah.
said originally it was exclusive to Dave and Buster's? Does that
Yeah,
mean
I
exclusive,
played
yeah.
it at a place nearby, like a bowling alley.
I wonder
So-
if the arcade in Chicago,
Well, Carlos said in the chat, if you look at the YouTube chat, he said that there should be one in Schaumburg.
Halo Game Arcade, Schaumburg. Oh snap! Me and Carl are gonna meet up and go play that game. Let's go.
Yeah, it's fun. Like I said, it goes through the story of the game, but from the perspective of the ODSTs. You even fight the Flood in that game. You're helping Master Chief, so you'll be like playing, and all of a sudden, like you'll see him come up on screen, and then he'll disappear after that because it's more focused on you and your squad.
Yeah.
Which
I
is
mean, there's
nice.
Yeah,
That's
there's
cool.
some fantastic sequences, like especially with the Warthog, and you're in the like you're using the turret on the Warthog, and the shotgun, of course, when you're fighting the Flood. Like it was designed, you could feel like it was made by Halo fans, not like just people
Right.
trying to get an arcade game out there. Like you could feel the love for Halo in that arcade game.
Oh my god! I can't believe I'm excited for an arcade game. Let's go,
Yeah, 4 players tethered.
dude! I need to
I
find.
wish I can do that. Yeah.
I
Oh
need
wow,
to find.
you actually could like I didn't even realize you could just like download a PDF of like the game manuals that's got like all the actual game info and stuff for this
Oh,
on that Raw Thrills website.
Nice.
I wonder if you could just like contact them to like buy a copy.
Yeah. That is awesome. Oh my god, I can't see. That makes me happy because as I'm reading all this, I'm like, why don't we have a game of this perspective? Like, I mean, I get Halo and Master Chief and all that, but just like Halo 3 ODST, I thought that was a great spin-off I'd love more ODST games. That I'm down.
You'll definitely appreciate the book more when you go play this arcade game. You'll be like, oh, I recognize this. I understand this.
Yeah. Well, now I'm really glad that I read this and now learned about that. And now I'm gonna grab Carl and we're going to fucking Schaumburg. We're gonna go play that. Let's go.
Yeah, have fun, dude. I'm gonna have to get my roommate to go back to that place and out in Greenville.
Hell yeah. Let's see, what else do I got here? All right, so then, yeah, the team's going to the ODSTs are going to do that. Back to Master Chief. They successfully get on the Truth and Reconciliation, do the little up the little beam, get rescue keys, get the fuck out of there. I was wondering, like, they had keys. What do they do to him that now he suddenly knows how to fly Covenant ship?
Simulators and just like Navy intuitiveness, I guess. Like, but I think it was simulators. He mentioned that a little bit.
Okay, again.
Yeah, that's. I think that was just like experience.
What
just
a badass!
Like,
remember, it's almost 30 years of fighting these guys. So at some point, they're gonna have the ability to actually like try their technology out. It might be not all the time, but yeah.
Right.
Which is weird because near the end, I mean, before the Covenant wrecked Reach, you actually see Master Chief talking with getting debriefed by the Oni spooks, and they make it sound like they have absolutely no fucking clue, even that the Covenant is like a religious hierarchical whatever. Like it makes it sound like years have elapsed between Reach and this, the way like between simulators and this and everything else. It's a big stretch for me. I appreciate it, but I think it's just kind of a big stretch in like the difference between how ineffective their weaponry is at certain points versus how now we have simulations on how to fly their ships.
Right.
That was something that kind of struck me a bit. It's like, that's a bit weird, but I'm down for it.
I think in the updated version of the book, they've corrected that. Because, remember, they've republished the original books. So I'm reading the
originals.
Yeah, I think that's been adjusted. I'm pretty sure that's been adjusted.
Right on. Where was I? So after the rescue and escape, we're back to the Covenant side. They're on the pillar, or no, not the pillar. They're on the Truth and Reconciliation. Zamami is checking the ship for the human, for the demon, for Master Chief and Keys, who escaped, and can't find him. And then I guess they go back to the council, and Zamami's asking. Oh, that's when they're like, "All right, we know all right, that guy that you wanted to go after, you can go after him now."
Literally, just like show the. They show him taking pot shots from plasma weaponry, shrugging it off and going. And they're like, yes, we have verified the existence of this creature with the enhanced armor. It's not battle-induced mania. You are cleared to continue your mission as requested.
Yep, and he's like, indubitably. No.
Typical bureaucrats. They gotta wait till the problem is right in their face before they make a move.
Exactly. But yeah, pretty much that's how chapter 4 ends. Zamami's getting ready to fucking telling Yep, like, let's go. We're going after this motherfucker. And then that ends there, and then it starts off with them. The silent cartographer. Oh, so they're now going to the silent cartographer, learning that they need to find Halo's. Oh, he's learning the reason what Keys. Does he at some point learn that what the Covenant are up to, that they're using?
Yes, somehow it's kind of weird because I think Imp probably agree. Like Keys is able to understand their language and
suddenly.
Suddenly.
Well, they have shown a penchant for speaking English because I don't think any humans do understand, which is strange that he was able to glean. Yeah, somehow they have to speak English to their captors, but somehow he knows this stuff. Like I wouldn't even be speaking in his language. Fuck him.
Yeah.
Monkey.
So yeah, that's a little slip up right there, because I was like, yeah, how do they suddenly know what the plans are? But yeah, they're I guess maybe even no, I don't think Cortana at any point had hacked into anything, or did she receive maybe? I don't remember. Yeah, that's kind of out of nowhere. But they learned that the purpose of Halo and what they can do to stop the Covenant from using it as a weapon. So that's where the silent cartographer is mentioned, and it starts off again beat for beat, where being landed on that beach, and you're running through and going into the building and all that that whole section. Let's see, and then I also got here McKay successfully gets supplies from the Pillar of Autumn, so that goes back to that, and they finish that fight. I know I'm just glossing over shit, so if you guys have any further analysis.
What's interesting is when Keyes is returned back to the base, or he's brought to the base, the one that they captured.
Yeah.
He basically takes control of like the whole operation at that point.
Yeah.
And as the reader listening, because the author sets up pretty nicely. Like, you really don't like this Silva guy just because he just disrespects Chief. And especially if you're like a big fan of the games, you're like, no one disrespects the Chief. So when he kind of he gets knocked down a notch because Keyes takes command. At least for me, I'm like, all right, now the real man's in charge of this operation.
Oh yeah,
but
it straight out just says like Silva just doesn't like how quickly and easily he just immediately took control.
Yes,
but couldn't say anything because you don't disrespect the commanding officer.
Yes,
exactly. Which not disrespecting the commanding officer comes into play at the end there. Keep that in mind, everybody. Let's see. Foreshadowing. And then let's see. Oh yeah, kind of goes back to Master Chief going through that structure down where the door opens or door closes. What is it? Oh yeah, just as he goes, door closes. Goes back up, does that whole battle. Again, I love.
I couldn't help but laugh reading that part, thinking like, well, why didn't he just bring the Warthog down there and skip the section?
Yeah.
Like, come on, man, you got to work on your MLG strats. Where's your speedrun tactics?
That's right. Chief doesn't know anything about speedrunning. God damn it.
Wait, are you talking about when he gets to the security door, bringing the Warthog there?
The security door. Yeah, you could bring the Warthog down there. You could use it to skip that section.
But like, he did bring it inside to that first section. You remember that?
Yeah, he did.
I completely forgot. Every time I read the book, I always get reminded of what happens. And it's funny because the guy wrote Chief based off of how the player would play the game.
Yeah.
In the last chapter, when they're doing the Truth and Reconciliation mission, Chief jumps into the shade turret to take out the hunters, which is something I always do whenever I play that level. And I'm pretty sure you guys do the same thing.
Yeah, I always just try to save my at least a little sniper ammo so I can one-shot them.
Yeah.
That's what I do.
Yeah, no, for sure.
It's clear that the author at least played the game, or if he didn't, he's very good at faking it.
Yeah, like I said,
at least probably either played the game or watched footage or watched someone do it.
He had tape. He had tape of one of the developers playing it. I guarantee that.
Tape of someone playing it because that would be the easiest way to write this story.
Exactly. Down to the throwing a grenade when he turned the corner or hopping into a turret. Yeah, no, that was good attention to detail.
There's another we'll get to here in a second, but there's another sequence that I always do when I play the silent cartographer level. But before we get to that, because this chapter sets up the second time that Zamami is up against the Chief.
Yeah.
And he's waiting for him with it's stealth mode with the hunters as well.
Yeah,
so that's a really interesting engagement because, as you're playing the game, you're just fighting these random aliens, right? There's no names to them.
Yep.
But the book kind of puts names on these characters, which is pretty interesting from that perspective.
That's pretty much what this book does. Is like, yeah, it gives names and stories behind. Then Master Chief ran into a hunter, and then the hunter was thinking about his wife and his days at. No, I'm joking, but like
writing for poets.
yeah,
There is one section in the game that does. It is in the silent cartographer area. Like, I think it might be the next chapter that you actually do very briefly get the point of view of the hunters.
Yes.
And that's it. Like in the actual lore, they're considered like almost like graceful warrior poets. They can go from curb stomping a foe to reciting war poetry.
Yeah.
At the drop of a hat.
Yeah.
Also, something real interesting. Like I almost glossed over it. Like the discussion between Silva and Keys, right? And Silva just flat out airs his grievances about Master Chief, like right to Keys, and Keys is like, "You're fucking stupid."
Yeah.
Like this in a much more respectful tone, and they're just like, I can't. No, he's our best defense, and we have to make damn sure that we use him to the best of his ability.
Yeah, basically Keys, he's like, yeah, Silva's like, meh. And Keys is like, yeah, whatever, shut the fuck up. But no, yeah, it was yeah, he at that point, you're Keys, you're the fucking captain here. You got captured, you escaped. You think you're gonna listen to some fucking subordinate? Hell no, shut the fuck up.
Yeah, I mean, in self-defense, I mean, the rest of the Spartans got smoked, so I could see his point.
Oh my goodness! Are you really trying to start something now?
It's politics, is what it is. He doesn't look at it and think like it's like he had to look at the guy's record to recognize like this guy has literally killed hundreds, if not thousands, of Covenant on his own, and the Spartan program has gotten serious wins in the past. Like he's looking at that and stewing in it because that should be the ODSTs. That's what we're here for.
Yeah.
And you're just an abducted child and a mutant freak monster that they subjected to all these crazy experiments. You don't deserve to live, and your experimental program was still a failure. Like, he's literally trying to take it and justify his existence over Master Chief's in every way possible. It's purely politics.
Yeah.
All the way to the end of the game. All the way to the end of the book. It's purely politics.
Gotta love it. Politics. Let's see. Yeah, and then the last here thing I wrote for chapter 5 was, Zamami and Yayep run into Chief. He comes in blasting away. Do they just hide? I forget how they, does he just stay in fucking cover and Yayep pretends to be dead and he moves on? Or am I misremembering how Zamami gets away from that one?
So, I'm looking at it right now. So, like, Zamami was in hiding, like, ready to go. And then one of the grunts, like, messed up. Not Yayep, but a different grunt. And basically causes, like, avalanche of just, like, dumb things to happen. And then when the chief was there, like, he was able just to, like, win over the hunters and the other elites that were waiting for him as well.
Yeah,
it was like a really comedic scene, honestly, if you read it. So,
well, because the grunt fired early, and it killed one of the hunters early. So when Master Chief came in, and there was already a bunch of confusion and shots fired, then he kills one of the hunters on a flank and turns, and the other one's already dead. He's like, I don't know how that happened, but thank you, and just kept on firing.
Yeah. That was pretty hilarious. Yeah, and then Zamami's like, yo, fuck this shit, I'm out.
he grabbed his grunt buddy and then they like dipped.
Yeah. Like,
yeah, muttered.
So yeah, uh-oh. That's hilarious. And the IJP Mexican, what's up, buddy? How you doing?
What's up,
Good
dude?
to see you. How you doing? Alrighty, and then that was a I remember now. Uh-oh. And then chapter 6. We're halfway there, guys. I wrote here, that's where Wait, which epic battle? I wrote an epic battle.
So
Oh!
there was a big convoy, remember? They
That's
got all their
right.
supplies,
Yeah.
and they're moving. They have like a massive convoy of warthogs, ghosts, trailers, and they're trying to get back to the butte.
That's right. Oh yeah, the
squeeze-
ODSTs. Yes.
Yep.
And this is also where we are introduced. Oh, right, to this Covenant spy, who's watching them, watching the fight from afar. It's an elite spy, right? And then another elite.
Yeah.
I forget the names, but
Yeah,
he
you're
comes
talking
out.
about the spy and the field master.
Yes.
Yeah, because
that was-
they had what was it, like 30 some warthogs, 4 tanks. Most of the warthogs had trailers on them, and it was like they knew they were gonna get spotted, so it was just a matter of time. So they just planned ahead, and the ODSTs continue to show their versatility and their tactical strength, which is exactly what they did.
Yeah.
They've just gone in guns blazing every time, like the elites did, because the elites just have no like. That was something that was noted in Halo 2. I believe the extended story from the Master Chief Collection, if you do like the Halo 2 Anniversary Edition, has additional story around like various terminals and stuff. And it explains that the shipmaster that was in charge of the fleet, essentially the commanding elite in charge of the campaign against the humans from the very beginning, well, maybe not from the beginning, but they explained that the reason he was so deadly was because he was willing to set aside, not necessarily pride, but he was willing to set aside his just sheer zealous rage to actually exercise his tactical might, and it paid off dividends. Like, he was the one that led the charge against Reach, and like his willingness to flex in, which was noted in the book, in the Fall of Reach book, that they repeatedly changed their tactics to do different things and kept throwing the humans off guard, and that's how they were able to outwit the humans at various times. So like that's the reason their tactics kept changing, and like, oh well, we have to get this guy. We can't just like slaughter them all recklessly. Like, they have to start at some point recognizing that humans are a threat, and they do have to use tactics to deal with them instead of just treating them like lessers and exterminate them like rats.
Yep. And yeah, they're starting to. I think at this point they're starting to like realize their resiliency, because the elite spy here, they're watching their moves now. They're studying them. I mean, I guess you could compare it to like trying to study a rat, but hey, these rats are starting to kick your ass. So are they really rats? I don't know anymore. But yeah, they're starting to get worried, and there was a. Well, I guess that happens a little bit later in the chapter, but I'm trying to go along here. ODST McKay kicking ass after retrieving supplies. I wrote Marine Jones, the sniper, who's kind of just like crawled up and started just popping fucking. It's like, all right, time to fucking show my, because he's just a Marine. He's not an ODST, but he's like, I gotta do something here. I think it starts kind of like going a little back into his like life, where he's like thinking about his wife or some shit like that, but then he lines up a shot, and I love that scene where it's like, and then it goes right back to the Covenant, and the spy and the elite are talking, and then suddenly the elite spy head blew up.
Yep.
Yeah.
He was about to say something when suddenly his head exploded.
I love that. I'm like, oh no, is this Marine about to take out that? He's like, and then he sees two elites, one in gold armor. I'm like, oh shit, that's them. You about to gun them down? Let's go. That was a great scene, yeah. And then let's see here, Master Chief continuing to the silent cartographer. So that is, just detailing more of that. Oh yeah, there was a moment here that I wrote down that something happened, which was kind of like, I don't remember. All I wrote down here was there was a moment where Chief was more of a robot than Cortana. Cortana was like, as an AI, was more like concerned and had like, it's like worried, but Chief at one point's like, nah, just brush it off. We're on a mission here. And,
yeah, he actually. This was like the point I was talking about earlier, where he briefly takes off in a section of his armor to do the field repair kit, or to do his med kit stuff, and then put it back on and get back to work.
That's right. That's what it was. Yeah.
And that interaction between Cortana and Chief kind of further highlights that that was based off of Halsey's mind. And like she has that affection for him, like that almost motherly affection. Yeah.
Yes. I also wrote down here, I think there was more Master Chief fiddling with Forerunner controls and technology, more hints that the Forerunners were human. And it said something like, oh, and he tapped, as if he was tapping into his ancestry self or something like that. More evidence there that they try to sneak in. And then, let's see, and then Keyes decides he's going after some Covenant weapons with a hostage. Yeah. He had a hostage Covenant. He's like, all right, you're gonna tell.
I do love that was essentially the tape that you saw in the cutscene in the middle of 343 Guilty Spark.
Yes.
That whole section really is just like beat for beat that helmet recording of like Jenkins' helmet recording.
Yep.
That's it.
Then they're like, open this door, motherfucker. Then
I tried really hard to lock it down. I don't care. Open the fucking thing.
Yep. And then does it go to the next chapter where the end of that chapter is that whole scene?
Yeah, when the flood attack in that room.
Right.
Dude, when it was written and described, it seemed way more of like a horror level. I mean, the game it's still really creepy when it happens and all that, but like the way they're describing like the screaming, the way they described how the little fucking infectors drove, their spikes into the spine of the host. I never really saw that in the game. It's not like really detailed enough. They just kind of they just kind of jump at you in the game, but in this they describe that those little tentacles.
I've done a bit of research into like the Halo wikis and stuff talking about the flood. It is interesting enough to really like sit down and think about how like what they do and how they do it. It's a really neat thing. Essentially, the infection forms are just a mobile carrier for a single cell, but that's all you need. It's referred to as the flood supercell.
Ooh.
And what they do is they inject it directly into your spine, and they just wedge themselves in. And that's really it. Once one attaches, then it starts this whole process, and it injects itself into your mind and just wipes your memory clean. Searches for any useful information, hangs onto it, discards the rest, and then turns you into a slave.
Yeah.
But to Paul's point too, like you hear and you're thinking about like, oh well, what would it be like to have something like taking over your mind? Where in the game, once they get taken over, they just become like, enemy shoot them. In this, it is much more graphic and, just brought up much more imagery of like thinking of like if something was trying to take over your mind, take away your own willpower.
Yeah. Oh my God.
In Halo 3, they do a pretty good job, like kind of hammering that home a little more because they added additional code in Halo 3 to allow Flood to start transforming things as soon as it hits. Like if an infection form hits a living host, it will just start turning them immediately. And then, but then to the book, you do also see a couple of instances where that changes. We'll get into it later with Keyes. But also this is the first mention of Johnson, and how that when like they flat out say like it didn't turn him completely. It mutated him, but he still had some sense because the infection.
Jenkins, not Johnson.
Jenkins.
Yeah,
My bad. Yeah.
You're good.
Sorry. Words.
Words,
Yeah.
yeah.
Jenkins was just not completely turned. He still had his senses.
I like the story that's like perhaps this was basically a defective infector, or perhaps it was asleep for too long and just didn't have the full strength, and it didn't take over Jenkins 100%. So that whole storyline, it's about to come up here in a bit, but yeah, that was very interesting.
So basically, his pod infector was Polish.
His pod. Yes, he didn't. He showed up late, did a half-ass job, didn't complete it. Yeah, good point. Damn Polacks can't get anything right. And then, all right, that is how chapter 6 ends. Chapter 7. Oh man, so this is when I was a little confused, because this is the part in the game where Chief takes Foehammer takes him down like this giant hole, and that's where you get into that like big old
assault
hole
on the control room.
Yeah, because the last thing that the Covenant will expect is an aerial insertion.
Yeah.
Underground.
So they go underground, and then suddenly, and then they're suddenly outside in snowy mountains. But I thought you were underground.
No, because remember, so if you remember from the game, the start of the mission, the Pelican rises up from like this like big cavern, and then Chief gets dropped off, and then aliens are pulling out the door. And in the book, he describes that they're like he's walking through these hallways, and then a couple paragraphs in, he gets to a door that opens up, and then you see he sees the snowiness and everything.
Okay. So just the building went through underground, and then he emerged back outside. But it said it's in a cold area.
Different part of the ring. Yes.
Right. So it's just
it's a set of maintenance hallways and corridors that just set directly underneath the inner skin of the ring.
Got you.
And that's what they explain in the game too. Is just opens up some maintenance hall and maintenance paths, and then drop them off, and then be on your way.
Right. Because I was like, wait a second, he just went underground and now he's outside. But yes, that makes absolute sense. I don't know why I brain farted on that. Duh. Of course, there's back rooms to the Halo. Alrighty, so yeah, that whole level. Beerus, sorry, my cat is meowing like a motherfucker. Alright, he is. Oh, and then he does the whole fighting out in the snowy area for like most of the chapter, and then he goes up the zigzag building up into the silent cartographer, and that's when they finally get to the computer, and Cortana gets plugged in, realizes what Halo is and what just got released. Oh yeah, she's like, oh my god, what the fuck is that? And then I think that whole story, and then it goes back to the Covenant, go back to Zamami, and I think that's when they're planning to take back the Butte from the ODSTs. And that's all my notes for Chapter 7.
Find where Chapter 7 ends here.
But yeah,
right. That's about
pretty
right,
much most of that chapter is just Chief getting up to the main computer.
Yeah, and this part on is when Cortana's character, I wouldn't say like changes, but Chief starts to notice a difference in her behavior.
Yeah,
right.
When he comes back to her, of course, not like right away, but when he comes back to her, and the book it does a really good job detailing his inner monologue about it.
Yeah, it explains Cortana's being like, well, he's never seen her act like that before. Like she's overwhelmed a lot with this massive rush of information, and she's kind of like more snarky and a bit more aggressive. Like she's got a temper, and she's going back and forth between like aggressive with a temper and very like bubbly and like overwhelmed, like manic almost. And then suddenly she sees like, wait, so what's going on here? She's not completing her sentences. And then she just suddenly like, that's not right. Oh my god, they should have known. You need to go over here now. No, there's no time. No, fucking go. Like, it's like
So you mean she was a perfect woman, and then she hit something that happens maybe once a month for most women, and then that changed her.
Yes, that changed her definitely. But yeah, she gets stuck in the computer, and she's like, "Leave me here. Go find the others. Let them know what got released." And he's like, "What got released? Just no time. Go."
Wait, slow down. What's going on? And again, like the attention to detail with the script of the story, like it's outside of those cutscenes, because those cutscenes are almost like completely intact. It's the it's just like the in-game parts where the script is still almost completely there. It's just like that 1% different. It's actually a great touch.
Yes, I greatly appreciate the attention to detail, because it was fun picturing me playing the game. I'm like, hey, I just played Halo 1 not long ago. I remember all this, but yeah, with the nice little details. But yeah, that is pretty much chapter 7. Not much goes on there. It doesn't go too much back and forth. Just describing, all that. Chapter 8 starts off with Chief trying to
3, 4.
Oh, he's back. He's back. Yeah, he's back in the area where he boarded the Truth and Reconciliation, and he's looking for keys. And following his trail, makes it up there, makes it to the room, and basically watches the helmet footage of what's going on. And this is where he starts fighting the Flood? I think so.
Go ahead.
Just to correct Paul, it was the swamp. Remember? So
the swamp. Yeah.
They went to a completely different part of the ring, the swamp. Echo
right.
Drops him off. It's basically that whole level, but with more like inner dialogue from the Chief, getting up to the point where you're mentioning with the helmet video log and fighting the Flood.
Right. Okay. I may have misunderstood. Yeah, I do remember it was a swamp, but I thought, okay, yeah. Because I thought they said something back. I thought it said something like, "Oh, back where he was with the Truth and Reconciliation," but I may have misheard. You are right. Let's see what else.
I actually really liked how, even to this day, like he's in his 40s, I believe. Master Chief is still remembering the lessons of Chief Mendes in his training. Like he talks about like get used to your environment, become one with your environment. If you because. He flat out just like if you absorb, like get accustomed to your environment, you start feeling out how it should be, then you can start to accustom yourself to what should not be there.
Yes.
And knowledge in a situation like this where you've got no intel, no briefings, no idea what the hell's around the corner could absolutely save your life.
And also this is he's starting to feel alone now that Cortana's not with him.
Oh, here's the quote. Here's the quote. Make friends with your environment. That's what Chief Mendes said.
Yeah. Yup.
So don't forget also, when he's traveling through this, this area here into the Forerunner structure, there's a nice little nod. I mean, he had to include it because it was part of the game, but the crazy Marine that's like down below and he's like frantically shooting his gun. And like when you walk up to him in the game, he's like screaming at you like they're everywhere. And so it's really funny that he includes it in the book too. And Chief's like trying to talk to him and calm him down.
Yeah.
Yes, I do remember that. Yeah, he did because of the elevator structure going down, and then as he moves on through, finds the door, finds the Flood, and fights
and
them off.
The crazy, the fear-stricken Marine is just like it's actually more animated too. Because you're trying to talk to him, you're trying to do this stuff. Like you take the gun from him, and you try to talk him down, and you just won't talk him down. And eventually, Chief gives him back the gun and says,
"Get up top.
All right, everything's clear. Get up topside and wait for me. There will be a dust off later." And the guy just curls into the fetal
ball. Yeah, he's like,
curls into a fetal ball. He's just like, "No, I'm done. I'm out."
Oh God.
Oh no.
Yeah.
You can tell which one had the turkey.
Oh.
There's another interesting point. Chief mentioned it, how he felt like he was being watched while he's running around in this facility. He's like, he kept looking behind him because he could feel eyes boring into his head or skull. And that's a really interesting point because I don't know, like, when you guys first played that game, especially that level, like if you remember feeling like that, like why is everything so empty, right? You just hear and everything, and it's just like without having music there and noise to basically inform you that he's by himself, the author's writing it out for you by just saying that. I think that's kind of cool just to have that in there.
Yeah, that sense of like isolation and dread was one of the most iconic moments of this game in general, and they definitely capture that in the book.
Yeah. Or
like the soundtrack for it. Like I could actually hear like that whole like I could definitely hear that when the flood started pouring in on Master Chief up ahead, that I could hear that in my mind. That
squishing. They even fucking, it's like, oh, the tentacles making a squishing sound. I'm like, oh, that is the sound they make. Ugh. Yeah, for sure. What else we got in this chapter? Covenant making their move on the Butte, and they're looking for the Master Chief. They make a, they make a plan to. Is this where Yaya pretends to be dead so they could take him back to the base and he could search
That's later
for...
on.
That's later on? Okay.
Yeah, this is when they basically held some Marines at gunpoint with the Pelican, and there was a bunch of stealth elites on the Pelican. And as it was approaching the Butte, they're like, "Hey, where have you been? You've been missing." And then they're like, they don't know. Well, somebody suspected there was it was an invasion force, but the comm people didn't. So they're just like, "All right, well, you better land at this spot." But they didn't realize that there's stealth elites on this Pelican. And then it's funny because there's that scene there where Zamami kills the pilot, and I guess they take over the ship
like
at that point.
him, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, "What is this like odd smell?" And then he notices that like the pilot basically like pissed himself.
Yeah.
The pilot shit himself.
Or
Yeah.
that, yeah. So that was a pretty interesting detail.
Yeah. That, yeah, hell yeah. Let's see. Okay, yeah, and then, goes back to Master Chief fighting, learning about the flood. He's like, fighting them off, trying to figure out what the hell they are, noticing different, or no, at this point he hasn't run into any combatant types, just the little suckers, and he's just like, what the fuck, they got little tentacles, there's waves of them. And then let's see here what I write. Yeah, and then Key's got but he's still going in and out of consciousness, and yeah, he's trying to remember. He's like, wait, who am I? Who's the enemy? Really, this is like kind of wow. Like for a few chapters here, this is like heartbreaking for this badass dude to kind of go through this like almost dementia-like state where he's like losing his memory, also like no function of his body. He's just, oh man, it's
that was wild to read. Again, was the horror in his thoughts as he kind of comes to terms with that. Like he feels his memories, they flash before his eyes, and like a slideshow, and then everything just like melts away, and he tries to resist, he tries to move, but nothing happens. And like it's explained in the next Key's flashback too. What's happening is just like it's melting his memories away. It's sifting through his memories to try and find important information, and anything that it can't use is getting discarded.
Yeah. Insane. And yeah, a little bit later, not right now, but at some point he starts kind of feeling like, wait, is it trying to... Key starts kind of realizing that, hey, this is trying to get information from me, so stop thinking about certain things. But that's a little bit later on, that's not right now. Alright, so then chapter 9. Let's see here. Chief and team back in the swamp trying to escape the flood. Oh, and then yeah, this is when he runs into the Forerunners and the Forerunner technology and 343 Spark. And I don't think is this where he gets teleported zips away from, gets teleported out of there, and then it moves over to.
Well, isn't that in the isn't that in the next chapter? Or am I?
Is
am I
it?
crazy?
Chapter 9.
Yeah, I thought it was chapter
Am I
9.
crazy? Am I crazy? Yeah, because there's a chapter break in the middle of it where he starts fighting the flood, and then he goes through a couple of lifts and gets outside, and that's when he meets up with Marines, and then the next chapter he meets up. He's fighting through both Covenant and the flood, and he gets up to the high point when they talk about like there's a tower like 300 meters that away. Go meet me over there. That'll be your rendezvous, and that's where he meets the three. That's where he meets the monitor.
Yeah, that's chapter 9.
That's chapter. All right,
The
Yeah.
end of the
I'm insane.
Guilty Spark level.
Yeah, sorry. I'm insane.
No, you're good.
But
Let's-
there's a lot that happens in chapter 9 because it's conversation with Silva and McKay back on the Butte.
Yep.
After talking about like why we were just randomly attacked or whatever. Well, not randomly, but and they talk. It's a huge section talking about it and a little bit of the battle, I think, too.
Yes, I have like the. Yeah, this is like them after the last battle. I have here like McKay talking with troops and just reassuring them like, hey, yeah, they're shooting the shit, and then yeah, like you said, there's a moment where yeah, her and Silver are going back and forth. Wait, did I write this right? Because
Was you right?
I have too many. Wait, move. Is Master Chief already in the library at this point? Oh.
Yes. So after
Oh, he
the
is.
conversation, he gets teleported to the library because it's basically the end of 343 Guilty Spark level, and then it goes into Silva and McKay's story, and then it picks back up with the start of the library. About
Yes.
that after.
Right. Okay, yeah. So I'm not wrong. Okay, yeah. I'm just like. Yeah. So a lot happens in chapter 9. Yeah. Holy shit.
What we should have prefaced in the beginning of the stream is that this book, the chapters are really weird how it's laid out. They're like really long chapters. Compared
Yes.
to the last book, where they're like shorter chapters and specific events happen in each chapter. And I don't know why the author decided to lay it out like this with this book, but it like really, if you're reading it, it's like kind of throws you off a little bit, but like listening to it's not too bad. It's
Yeah.
just weird. The whole sections in the chapters, like it doesn't make any sense.
Right.
To model it after the game, I guess.
Yeah, because yeah, like in the last book, like we mentioned, there was like 30 something chapters, and each chapter kind of moved from scene to scene, whereas these chapters are like hour long. Because yeah, those were like between 5 minutes to maybe 20 minutes at most chapters, and here we have like hour long chapters where a lot happens in just one chapter. So that's why there's a lot of back and forth. Like there's many stories going on at once in one certain chapter. But yeah, so yeah, we should have prefaced that. But
Yeah, it's only 12
That-
chapters.
yeah, this one only has 12 chapters, but like we said, each one was like an hour long. But yeah, no, chapter 9 was a doozy because even though like most of them are like an hour long, but like we said, like chapter 7 like really wasn't too much going on, but still an hour long. But in chapter 9, same amount of time, way more information or different perspective and information. But yeah, a lot happens in this one. So like we said,
Yeah, I don't even remember the chapters being announced in Audible. Like it just
Oh,
seemed like
really?
it went.
you know what?
Yeah.
It didn't really say chapter 9 or something. It said section sometimes, but I just went based off of like the tracks on Spotify. Once it became once the thing ended and the next track started, I'm like, there's the next chapter.
Well, and the sections correlate less to the sections correlate more to the levels, even though there's not one for every level in the game. There's a
Right.
lot,
Yes.
but like
it's-
sometimes they kind of mix a couple levels into one.
for sure, yeah.
I completely forgot. There's actually kind of an important point with 343. I think he says it maybe at the beginning when they get to the library. If not, it was the very first conversation with they're in the swamp. But he basically he's kind of surprised that Chief doesn't know about the protocol. But it hits a bit harder in the book than it does, I think, in the game itself. So I always thought that was kind of interesting because it goes towards what you were saying, Paul, about how like
yeah, the original story was the Forerunners were basically humans.
Yeah.
And so the book kind of adds to that even more. It's like, wait, you should know this. So,
Yeah, yeah. When you start,
Well,
once you start paying attention to that, it comes up more and more. Yeah.
And in a similar vein, like I think it's kind of assumed that he thinks that a lot of the Forerunners, he thinks that a lot of the Reclaimers are either they know, like not only do they know about this stuff, but I think he's doing this expecting that Master Chief was someone else, or like existed or had a different experience with him prior. And it's like, because every time that, like, even in the game, he's repeatedly like surprised, like, you knew that already, didn't you?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You brought such inefficient weapons. Like he thinks that there's something else going on.
At one point, he's like, "Oh, you're only at the Mark 2 level of armor. You need at least a Mark 12 level of armor."
Yeah.
As if he's like, why is this a lower version of what I'm used to? But yeah, no, all that again goes back to that, even down to calling him the Reclaimer.
Right,
You've come here
exactly.
to reclaim what was yours. So very.
Someone else a Reclaimer, because at the opening of the when they get to the library, he's like, yeah, the other Reclaimer, his armor wasn't like sufficient enough to combat the Flood. And what's really funny is like Chief even notices that guy got like pretty far into the library compared to like what a normal Marine, I guess, would have made it through. Which is
He takes his dog tags and gives him a quick little eulogy, like, I don't know you, but I wish you were, because you seem like a real badass.
Yeah, he's like, I wish I would have fought alongside you, or something like that. Yeah, that was pretty dope. Dope. Let's see what I got here.
Most of this chapter is basically, or is like the library, basically.
Yeah.
Halo.
So they're going. Yeah, Master Chief's section is the library. He's fighting fucking Flood, learning about this is, I think, when he first. Oh no, he already. But I think he's starting to now categorize. Hey, these are the ones that blow up here. These are the little tentacle, the infectors. These are the combatant types, and just fighting his way through. 343 fucking is just humming away and fucking whistling, and Chief is like, what is this? What is it with this robot? So it was pretty funny. And then it goes back to some infected here. We go. I got here the Jenkins story.
Oh yes.
He got infected with a Polish. With a Polish Flood, and he could still kind of think for himself. Can he move? He could still kind of move, or he just.
It's limited because, like, yeah, the Polish Flood form, is letting him still think, but there are times where actually no, you're right, because he just tried later on. You'll hear he just tried to commit suicide several times, but it like fails. So
yeah,
he has like limited function.
Oh, nerdy Neo chat. Ha ha ha! I'm a genius. It's like, shut up, you prick.
Fucking 343. Yeah,
I know.
The story with Jenkins, like, at first, the way I read that was like he was hiding his mental capacity from everything around him to not seem like a threat, just going along with it, so that he could get his hands on a weapon and end himself because of the unimaginable pain that he was in.
Yeah. Carl, the Flood wouldn't accept
goodness.
the Pole.
Now, I don't know about you guys, but at this point in the book, when Jenkins and the Flood's released, right, and they're infecting the humans, or they're about to, but they've infected a few of them. For me, like, the fear factor really creeps in, because it's like, all right, like, they captured this butte, and they're about to get, like, surprise attack, which that whole sequence is really cool, and that's later on. But to me, it's like Chief's got his armor, right, and he's got he's got the Spartan shielding and everything, but these guys, they have like just nothing basically. Might as well put paper in front of them. So like, to me, I'm always on the edge of my seat reading this. Like, all right, the Flood's gonna get in contact with these ODSTs, and we're gonna we'll really see how badass they are fighting against them.
Yeah. I do kind of jumping ahead, but kind of not. You mentioned the shield and the Flood. They don't explain how the shield fights off the infection type until the like very end of the fucking book, which I thought right then and there would have been the perfect. Oh well, no, Cortana wasn't in his head at this time, right? No.
Yes. You're talking about how the
Okay,
one
so-
guy, the one flood spore was able to poke through his neck.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
that's when Cortana took the shields and shocked him off of it, which
That was later. Yep.
that was way later. So I guess in the book he doesn't get hit with any infection types until the very end, while we were getting smacked. Actually, we used our shields to like, there's a couple of here. Go ahead, jump on my shield. Die. I ain't wasting bullets.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Okay, so then also we got Keys, still trying to think of memories, but then realizing that something in his head is trying to. Once he thinks of Earth, he's like something changes, and it's like, oh, that's the information we want, motherfucker. And he's like, wait.
hungry.
Yeah, and he's like, no, repress that. Like, stop thinking of that. And
you
I
start
think
you get the other memories. I hate
Yeah.
to see them go, but you get to feed on the taste of my favorite food. Sorry.
yeah, exactly.
Talk
all
about
the while
dedication.
hanging on to his name and service number.
Mhm.
Yeah, that. Oh my god, yeah, that scene. What were you gonna say, Angry?
I was gonna say, talk about duty to his. I was gonna say country, but that's not even accurate.
Right.
The human race, I guess, right?
Yeah,
Duty to his
exactly.
service.
Yeah, like he rather destroy. I mean, he's pretty much. He knows he's probably a goner at this point, so he'd rather destroy precious memories of like his life than give up information about Earth. Like that's and it's all like a mental game that's happening. That's pretty cool.
Right. That's like we've seen Keys be a physical badass throughout the whole thing. Now we're watching him in the power of his mental capacity fighting off. He doesn't even understand what the fuck he's fighting off, but he's still fucking fighting, and it's amazing. Yeah, for sure. And then the chapter ends back on Master Chief and 343 snatching away that index key because he needed Master Chief to like unlock something for the index key to show. I think.
Yeah, remember at the end of the library level, basically only a reclaimer can touch the key.
Yes.
And like
Exactly.
yeah, so he got him up to the key. Same thing as the game itself, and then they teleport back to Cortana.
Right, yeah. Cortana comes out and she's like blows up and like, you motherfucker, you. But again, kind of hinting right there that humans were forerunners. Why would a human be able to, unlock this technology from a long time ago? A little hint right there again, sprinkled all over. Once you see it, you can't unsee it. Damn you, Insidious! You're fucking. You're an asshole. No, no, Microsoft's an asshole. 343's an assholes. Let's see here. And then Cortana reveals the true intention of Guilty Spark, explaining that by turning on Halo, it would, eliminate not just the flood, but every fucking thing in the whole millions of light years. Actually, it said like 25,000, everything in a 25,000 light year radius or some shit like that.
I've
It was
got
a big-
the page open right now. Let me see it. Ask him. Maximum effective radius of 25,000 light years. But once the
Did I-
others follow suit, it effectively wipes the entire galaxy clean of all sentient life big enough to, with enough sufficient biomass to sustain flood life.
So fucking like microorganisms could probably still survive, but
And also, like, to my point prior, I wanted to point this line out, which is in the game too. Last time you asked me if it were my choice, would I do it? Having had considerable time to ponder your query, my answer has not changed. There is no choice. We must activate the ring, which means he thinks that Master Chief is a guy he's met before.
yeah, which kind of goes back to maybe he just means humans in general. Like, oh shit, you're back, but humans died and or ancient humans died and came back through some means. I'm still curious if the story was originally supposed to be that Forerunners created humans, or just evolution happened. Some microbes of a human existed somewhere, and we evolved back into humans again. I don't know that far into the Forerunners were human detail, but yeah, there's definitely some correlation with like, hey, you're supposed to know all this. We've interacted before, and yeah, and actually, it sounds like, from the sound of it, it actually sounds like the ancient humans or ancient Forerunners said, hey, yeah, turn on the ring, blow everything up, including themselves. And that's probably, I mean, it's probably how the Forerunners became extinct. And now waited 25,000, no, not 25,000 light years. That's not a measurement of time. But however many years, I wonder if that's ever disclosed. Like, what was the time of the Forerunners? Like, what was their era? Was it like 40,000 years into the past, like Warhammer?
Well, no, the 343 Guilty Spark had been monitoring that installation for approximately 100,000 years.
Ah,
Yeah, millennia or whatever. Yeah, it was a long time ago.
Like 100, yeah, literally like 100 millennia. Like
So
it's actually what's going. That's about that time frame.
so I would guess,
basically.
right? I would guess then, the story goes, Forerunner flood was infecting things. Forerunners said, ancient humans said, go ahead, turn it on, blew everything up. Like you said, anything with a certain biomass got deleted, meaning microbes could have still existed, and we re-evolved from fish to lizards to humans, and here we are with fucking projectile weapons trying to make it back to our former glory. That's my theory.
Well, actually, Paul,
go ahead.
this gets answered, man. We should do a watch party on your Discord server. We'll watch Halo Legends.
Let's go.
They basically talk about, like, and this is before 343. This is still Bungie controlling the lore. Now, I know Frank O'Connor worked on it, so maybe this is like part of the conspiracy to change the Forerunners from being human to like their own race. But it does talk about like what happened 100,000 years ago or whatever. So we should watch it, man. I'll host it. We can watch it, and then it'll answer all your burning questions about the past.
Beautiful. I like it. I'm down.
Ancient Aliens
Sounds
Halo
good.
Edition.
Ancient Aliens, let's go. 420. Sorry.
Well, they
I
were
don't
going to
know.
have that game too that was in the Forerunner time. Got canceled.
Oh.
It was the,
yeah, that one.
There's a ton of lore that goes into the stuff with the Forerunners, and it's
Yeah.
literally like there's a gigantic war when they like at every single turn they underestimated the Flood and the Flood's capabilities. Like if they had known from the earliest moment that they had saw them that the Flood were as dangerous and virulent and as they were, they would have just like glassed the planet and been done with it. But they kept going, and then at some point they realized that the Flood have the unique capability to corrupt AI. So at some point, the flood turned the Forerunner AI, in particular one, I don't remember the designation, but it was called Mendicant Bias, against the Forerunners. And that was one of the things that that forced them into a corner and made them activate Halo, which they had developed during the war as a last resort thing.
I recognize that name. Was that another little robot thing? Mendicus Bias?
Yeah, it was a Forerunner AI. You probably saw it in Halo 3's terminals. If you
Yes,
look
I
around.
think
Yeah.
so. Because didn't him and Guilty Spark have a... Was that story? Is that what I'm thinking of? Did they know each other? I don't know.
I don't think so. But what Imp is talking about, that's like... It's not in the Halo Legends cartoon or anime. It's like from the Forerunner trilogy books. What he's
okay.
talking about. And that's like... You have to watch a YouTube video to explain it, because those books are way too thick to like read and understand.
Right on. Well, my god. Tons of lore here. And there's tons of lore here, and I'm thinking about fucking getting into the Warhammer 40k universe. Fuck me. All right. Yeah. Speaking of, Warhammer Space Marines 2 comes out next week. Woo! And I'm ready
next
to.
week. That's cool.
or a week and a half or something like that. I know the early, like if you get the version where you could get it 4 days early is next week, I think. But
Yeah, we'll be playing it next week on stream.
that's right,
Oh,
the 5th,
sweet.
baby.
Sounds like fun.
We get it 4 days early. Hell yeah, we're gonna stream it. Let's go. But yeah, no. With all this Warhammer, with the Warhammer games coming out, I'm thinking about like reading some books and getting into that lore. And if I'm thinking fucking Halo lore is deep, goddamn, I'm not gonna be ready for Warhammer. Alrighty. Let's see here. Alright, moving on to chapter 10. We only got 2-3 more chapters left here, guys. Thank you again, everybody, for hanging out. Y'all are awesome. Big ups to y'all. Let's see here. Alright, this is where they fucking bolt it from they grab the index, or did they grab the index key, or they they snatch it away and run
Cortana
away.
Has it. Yeah, she snatched it right away.
She snatched it right away. That's right. She snatched it. He plugged her back in, and they said, "Let's get the fuck out of here." Sentinels start popping up, so I think and start attacking him. So it's that whole section of the game. That's when they start planning to blow up Halo. This is where the idea for it's like what kind of explosion can we make? They're like the Pillar of Autumn, fucking blow those damn what drives were they called?
Yeah, oh come on, something Fujikawa. I can't remember. the first
Oh,
name.
right,
You're talking
right.
about The Shaw Fujikawa
Shaw
drive.
Fujikawa, yeah.
Right. Basically
That's-
or is it like a FTL drive or a reactor or some shit like that?
That's the
Yeah.
that's the designation for the faster than light travel, the slip space drive.
Right. Heck yeah. So that's when
there
they
it is. Exactly 101,217 local years. Okay.
poof.
That was how many. I'm trying to get through the book to find that exact thing. Where the hell was it? No, they're the reactor cores is what they're talking about.
Yeah,
They
yeah.
specifically
Yes.
mentioned like the reactor cores.
Right, because I don't know if did the plans change at some point. Because I mean, this is in the last chapter when they finally get to the Pillar of Autumn. But like, I swore it feel like they changed plans. Like they're like, oh, we're gonna go blow this up, but then they're like, we got another idea. Let's blow these reactors instead. I
No,
may be
it was all.
mistaken.
If I remember, it was always the ship's fusion reactors.
Okay.
Yeah, they just needed the Captain Keyes' neural implant in order to actually like access the reactors.
That's right. So that's a little bit ahead there. Let's see. So yeah, they're escaping and the planning. Oh, and then it's funny. As I was right here in the book listening, I'm like, hey, where's that fucking part where you just, run into a beam of light and use your shields to disactivate?
Nope.
And then,
Yes.
and that's right when fucking Cortana's like, all right, to buy some time, let's destroy some pulse generators. I'm like, there it is. Thank you.
Yep.
Yep.
I recommend
pre-
that we commandeer one of those banshees. And
Yep.
he's just like, well, that's easier said than fucking done.
Yeah. Oh man. So I was like, thank you game, or not game. Thank you book for following the game so closely. It was awesome. But yeah, no, that was so funny because I was thinking, I'm like, are we just gonna skip this part? I guess it's not that important, right? He's just running into fucking beams. It just seems like kind of like not filler and kind of. It sounds like kind of like a
Well,
fetch quest. So you're going fighting.
In terms of a book, a lot of the shooting sections are filler.
True.
So when
true.
you think about it that way, like 90, like probably something like 75% of the game is cut out and filled in with little bits like, well, he made sure like he tossed a plasma grenade and it landed on the elite's arm and he couldn't get it off in time and died.
Yeah. But it didn't feel like filler listening to it. It felt like everything was important. And as I play the game, it feels like kind of like mindless kind of whatever. But when more of the story, when there's more at stake, you're like, that's right. Each one of those pulse generators is important to blow up. You go get it, boy. Instead, when I'm playing the game, like, oh god, I gotta go to another one. Come on, can I just beat the game already? You're so close to the end. You got this one more fetch quest to do here. So I thought that was pretty funny. This is also when the ODSTs are being, or they get attacked by the flood, and then bring some to the base, and that's when they find Jenkins and bring him along.
Yeah, it's a really interesting sequence because McKay is basically explaining to her CO, like, these are the different forms, and it's basically explaining to us, the reader, like, these are the different forms of the flood, and it's cool because you kind of get a little sense of hope for these guys. Like, okay, they seem to be able to handle like the situation pretty well, and they're gonna probably do all right. Taking if this is your first time reading it, of course,
right,
taking on the flood. So it's a really cool sequence, just them like dealing with the flood and their planning and everything that goes with it. It's really cool.
It goes again to show, if I've noticed that in the last, this book and the last book, they try to show that humans are really good at research and technology. They were able to snag Covenant armor or shields, put that in the Chief's armor. Like, they're really, adapted to learning about things. So right away they're like, all right, let's strap these down and fucking figure out what they are and analyze them. And that's kind of one of the pros.
And the descriptions of the creatures in that are absolutely jarring. It's something you don't really get. One of them, obviously, like the combat form was a female Marine, and they describe it in gross detail. Yeah, all the way down to like how she still had a ring on one finger.
Yeah. Yep. And she's like just dismantled, like doesn't even understand how, she's walking, just all puffed up, and it gets gruesome. It gets deep there, and the book really. I thought the flood was scary in the game. The flood is way scarier in this book.
Yes.
Hell yeah. Let's see. So with where am I at here? And that's they get Jenkins. Are they like somehow trying to communicate? Like, they're trying to communicate with him at some point here?
They think that he's still like partially alive, partially human at the bare minimum, and they don't understand what's going on inside his head.
Yes. And then the chapter ends. Right,
well, actually,
the chapter. Oh, go ahead.
If I can jump in real quickly, not to call out Bliss. I don't want to. I'm just curious. What did you think about this whole sequence with them trying to outsmart the flood, specifically trying to gain knowledge from the flood, and with the whole Jenkins situation, and I'm just curious with your great reading mind that you have. And that's not a dig. I'm telling you, that's not a dig. I'm just really curious now.
I don't know. I mean, it makes sense because they don't know what's going on, right? So if you put yourself in their shoes, you have your colleagues and everything that were infected by this, so you still think that they're human,
right?
Yeah. Yeah,
so
they think that he wants water. It's no, he doesn't want water.
Yeah,
he just wants to die.
Because they've never encountered anything like this before, right? So
yes.
So initially, humans are inclined to dissect and learn everything they can about a new enemy. It seems like
adapt, overcome,
adapt. Yeah,
improvise, overcome.
Yeah,
exactly. Adapt, improvise, overcome.
Okay, yeah, I was just because I always thought, like I said, my favorite parts of the book is with the ODSTs, and I always thought it was hilarious, even though I played the game. We've all played the game. We know it's futile just to try to learn from the flood. You just basically have to burn them and get rid of them. But it was interesting to see the whole Jenkins point of view, and you're reading his mind, and he's trying to talk to them, but he can, and he's trying to warn them. And I think it's in this chapter we see him specifically warning them about like underground. But
Right.
I'm curious, like what you thought about it there, Insidious.
Well, it was a Polish, infector. It didn't get the job done, so.
Yep.
Okay,
The way they explained that was that the infection form in particular was weak.
Yes.
So it just couldn't do, it didn't have the strength to completely overtake. So it's just sitting there like in a corner in his mind, like impotent and angry. So every once in a while it can take over, but it can only do that in short bursts, and then Jenkins takes back over again.
Very much like the Polish. They're can't get things done. Very weak. No. Fuck that. We ain't weak. We fought off the Nazis. Anyways, let me see here. And what else I got here? And then the Cortana and Chief are making the plan to go to find Keys, get that, and get him to. Well, originally they're like, if he's dead, we get his Neuralink. If he's alive, bring him to the ship to override some stuff. But they assume at this point he's dead, I think, because they realize the flood is fucked up, and they're like, yeah, chances are he's dead, so we got to get his Neuralink, and let's get the fuck on out of here. So the plan's in motion, they're in motion, and we're in motion to chapter 11.
Yeah.
Where
well, and I do kind of still appreciate like the little details, like they keep to the game and talking about the expenditures of energy and stuff. Like, yeah, like in my head, I see the cutscene and the motions and stuff.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was something really fun. Like, I'm glad that they kept those details. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, down to this scene right here where Cortana's like, all right, I'm going to try to get us as close to Key's location as possible. And it's like, Chief reappeared, and for some reason everything felt weird and all that, and realizes he's upside down in that funny little scene where Cortana, miscalculates, and, that was just a funny little, they kept that attention to detail. They kept that cutscene in the book. And, just a funny little comedy little thing there before shit gets real and dark. Let's see. Also, so he teleports onto the Truth and Reconciliation. That's where he is, right? He teleports back onto there. That's where he assumes. Or is this a different ship?
No, it's the same ship.
It's the same ship, right? And I think.
Remember, it's the level Keys from Combat Evolved. So
right. So they're looking for Keys. This is where they're running. Back. They're back on the Truth and Reconciliation, running up and down the ship. Back with the ODSTs, they get word of Chief's AI or Cortana and what was the Wesley. Wesley. They communicate to each other and they're like, all right, there's the plan, here's the plan, and then they refer the plan back to the ODSTs, and they're like, all right, shit, we gotta start making plans to get off this planet because Chief's about to blow the motherfucker. Let's see, and then back to Keys, fighting for his mental capacity, trying to not give up Earth's location. Is this is, I don't think it's here yet where he keeps repeating his name.
It is, yeah.
It is? Okay, so
Yep,
this is where he starts, the last memory he really has is just his name, rank, and badge number, and he's just sitting there mantraing it back and forth so he doesn't lose the last bit of fucking memory he has, but at the same time, he's like repressing any chance of even thinking about Earth and giving up that location, and just feeling like this fight against essentially it's Gravemind, right? That's trying to, it's never mentioned here, but I'm assuming it's
Gravemind.
Right. Gravemind, yeah. And let's see here. So he's fighting is this one? Yeah, and then eventually Chief and Cortana get to him and he's like, fucking get out of here. He's telling him to leave, but then Then they're like, we can't leave him like this. They see a big blob, thinking it's one of the exploder types, and they're like, wait, at a close look, just like in the game, that heartbreaking cutscene where you're like, oh my god, that's Key's face right there. And they realize what they have to do, and fucking shove a whole fist into his, not even a fist, they fucking went elbow deep on that one. Fucking
Yep.
brutal. Fucking breaks Chief's heart. You know, that's like a father to him. And he just had to mush his face in, and at the same time grab that neuro plant and get the fuck on out of there. Oh, and then we get back to the Covenant here as well, where Zamami starts pretending he's a different elite.
Yeah.
Yeah. So do you remember the reason why?
I don't actually.
So
Yeah.
I was trying to find the origin of it. I don't know if Imp can tell me, but basically he got held hostage by Yayap.
Yeah. So
I don't I'm trying to
the
find
whole
what it was,
point, the whole reason this happened was that the Zamami's purpose and the assault on Alpha Base was to find Master Chief. The whole plan was that they were going to have Yayap pretend to be injured and unconscious in order to be taken prisoner, so that, and he had a little thing in his breathing mask, so that if Yayap ever saw him, he would activate it, and they would say, "All right, so we confirmed that he's there, and we can do then, so we can do the raid." The problem is that Master Chief wasn't there anymore, so the whole purpose of the raid was moot. And after the failure of it, Zamami was terrified to go back because he knew the price of failure. And
Right.
Yayap knew that, put him to gunpoint, and said, "We're getting the fuck out of here, and you're gonna follow me." And so now they're basically like, "Oh, so here's the plan. You're going to impersonate someone else, and we're gonna sneak on board that ship." Well, how do you know they're not gonna like submit me for identity verification? It's like, why would they fucking do that? You have any idea how overworked and tired they are? They're probably just going to be ecstatic to have someone of your rank ready to go. So just fucking go. And that's exactly what happens. The guy is just like, "Oh, thank God you're fucking here. All right, I'm putting you in charge of this group over here. Just do the thing."
Yeah. Yeah, that was fun. It's this little Yayap fucking, it's like, fuck this shit. We're doing shit my way now. Taking the rank, or taking the lead. There was also a moment here where Yayap was hanging around with a bunch of jackals, and he had to pull rank on them.
Yeah,
Yes.
they don't like that. For anyone that doesn't know, there were actually like two separate grunt uprisings in Covenant history. One of them,
Right.
I believe definitely one of them, I'm sure, they actually had to call an arbor in because things got so bad. And the history behind that is that because the grunts and the jackals are seen as lesser in the Covenant hierarchy, and the jackals basically got away with fucking with, the grunts and jackals had a rivalry at one point that had gotten so bad that they were fucking with each other, and it got so bad that the jackals actually started messing with the grunts breeding cycles in a way. They did something that messed with their breeding cycles, and when it was investigated and determined what had happened, they didn't want to piss off the jackals, so the prophets just said, "Whatever, we understand, just don't fucking do it again." Gave him a slap on the wrist, and the grunts just fucking up and rebelled and just refused to do anything. So they sent in they sent in an arbiter to put down the rebellion. So there's some fucking history there behind all this shit. This is like millennia before,
Right.
maybe hundreds of years, thousands, I forget.
Halo grunt game. When? I want to play as the grunts uprising
I'm
against
the Nipple Academy.
Nipple Brothers!
Well, I mean, realistically, we should have got Zuka Zamami and Yap Yap Buddy Cop game.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm saying.
It's never gonna happen.
Never gonna
Oh
happen.
man, I would love that. Actually, I did see a mod where it was Halo 1 modded, but it's from the Covenant perspective.
Oh,
That'd be
that's
cool.
cool.
I think there's a mod out there like that, yeah. But yeah, that would be a bit of buddy cop game. Fuck yeah, man. That's how they remake Halo 1.
I'm there for it.
Hell yeah, man. That'd be cool if, like, because I swore I thought I heard rumors of, like, a remake of Halo 1. If they were able to do all these perspectives, do an ODST mission, do a Covenant mission, that'd be pretty cool. I'd be down for it, but of course they're not, because they're gonna fuck shit up all the time. Anyways,
Yeah.
so that is all the notes I have for 11, chapter 11 here. Yeah, I think it ends. Does it end with the Covenant there, and then we move back on to the last level of Halo, pretty much the Pillar of Autumn?
Well, I mean, there's a little bit more in there about Silva and McKay.
Is there? Okay, yeah, there is a scene with them trying to plan to get off Halo. Is this where they start talking about, like, hey, we're gonna escape and we're gonna take some of these Flood with us to learn more, or is that gonna happen?
Yes, that would be the last chapter.
That's the last chapter. Okay.
Yeah.
So then I don't remember the exchange here. I think that they're just trying to plan to get off the planet.
What's crazy for me is like rereading this, how I mean we played the level Keys, right? And that ship's like fallen apart.
Yeah.
And then in the book they talk about how, like, oh yeah, like the Covenant repaired it enough to be space worthy, and like meanwhile there's like a giant hole that you fall through.
Yeah.
In that game.
Well,
And,
that was they explained that in the game too. They sent a spec ops team down to institute enough repairs to get it off the planet, or to get it off the ring.
Yeah.
Like, they were in a panic trying to get it and fight off the Flood at the same time. They were that desperate.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, because in the book it really seems like the Truth and Reconciliation is like a base at that point. Like, they're like, oh, all right, we're fine here. This is our safe. You know, I almost said safe space, but no, this base is safe. We're good. You know, it's running, it's functional. But yeah, no, in the game it's like tore down and fucking blowing up and riddled with Flood and shit like that. Is there Flood in there? I think it is. Yeah, exactly.
In the ship,
all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
all over the
Flood
ship.
all over the place from this point
Yeah.
forward in the game.
Exactly. So it didn't really seem like in this chapter that they were like emphasizing, other than the I guess Master Chief fighting. But how is there time for? I guess there's parts of the ship that weren't infected. I guess because the elite or the Covenant were able to just sit there and fucking talk shit to each other. But for sure.
And that's also kind of the point where, like, you see McKay is getting very fucking angry with Silva, because Silva is trying to be a hero and McKay is literally just so fucking terrified. She just wants to settle on getting off the fucking ring and going home. She specifically would settle for survival, never share
right.
the hero.
Right, Silva's looking for glory, and McKay's looking for to fucking survive.
I think I said it before. Silva's an insufferable asshole.
Yeah.
This entire fucking book. He's short with his own commanding officer. He's short with, like, he's directly insulting to Master Chief the entire time through. He doesn't know what he's up against, and he thinks he can just snatch glory from all of this. And it's like, what are you fucking doing?
Yeah.
I mean, he was probably right. He's a hero. He was robbed of his glory.
Oh, there we go.
He didn't even have the plot armor to get on 343's payroll. Not until Fire Team Charlie. Or Fire Team Raven, sorry.
We're gonna change Insidious Bliss to Contrarian Bliss.
Yeah, but I think it's good because he's not like a bad guy, but he's like, the author writes him as kind of like the bad guy in the book per se, because
kind of, yeah.
It's an interesting way of like creating a character, I guess. Even though like he's on the same side as the humans, he's
exactly.
gains.
Yeah. For sure, yeah. He's a human. You're supposed to root for him, but he's kind of an asshole. At points, he's like, "Oh, that's the asshole we need," but then he pulls shit like, talking to Keys that way, talking to Master Chief that way, and it's like, where's this gonna go? You know, and you're just like unsure of him at the point. Yes, hell yeah. Alrighty, I think we are on to the last chapter here, guys. The final stretch. I was trying to chapter 12. I was trying to think of. I said stretch, and I was trying to think of a sexual innuendo. Let's hear. Oh yeah, so pretty much it's the last level of Halo. Good old arriving to the busted down Pillar of Autumn, which at this point, I think they know that the Covenant are on there, but I don't think they're hoping that the Flood haven't made it there. So we get that iconic scene of Chief flying the Banshee to the Pillar of Autumn and it busting down and him barely catching on. And then, just running through the Pillar of Autumn. I think the first thing he runs into isn't Covenant, but it was Sentinels, if I'm not mistaken. And he starts running into everything, basically.
Yeah. Like, it's a giant hodgepodge of bullshit at this point.
Yeah.
Everything is pure fucking chaos.
It's pure chaos at this moment. Everything's attacking him. The Sentinels, the Flood, the Covenant. They're attacking each other. It's pure chaos at this moment. I wrote down here, I think in the last bit of Forerunner We're Human lore, Guilty Spark says, as he's I don't know if I might be jumping here, but as they're going through the Pillar of Autumn, they make it to the bridge where the game originally, where you originally meet Keys in the beginning of the game, and Guilty Spark shows up and starts sucking information out of their computer, and he says the words. He's like, all this information, all our lost time.
Yep.
And it just like, there you go. He's like, oh, the lost time between the last, so it's like,
Human
motherfuckers.
history, is it?
Yeah.
Fascinating.
Yeah.
That you would just blow it. You would just blow this
blow it
up.
all up.
Blow it all up with this installation. I am shocked. Almost too shocked for words.
Yeah.
Fucking asshole.
But I again clung on to those words. It's like, all our lost time. I'm like, oh, motherfucker.
Yeah. The implications laden in those words. Like, I really would have loved to see where they wanted to take the story.
Yeah.
And, where they are now is different.
Halo 4.
It sure is.
Could have been amazing. Halo 4 could have been amazing. Let's see here. I got notes. Zamami gets word Chief is on the Pillar of Autumn. So Zamami, I guess, and go to the Pillar of Autumn at some point. They're about to. Okay, they're still on the Truth and Reconciliation, and they just get word, and then is that when they start flying over there?
No, talking about Zamami.
They've been on the Pillar of Autumn. They were in the Pillar of Autumn in the last chapter. That's where they snuck in.
Right. Okay. Gotcha. Okay, I was thinking that they were on the Truth and Reconciliation. No, they were on the Pillar of Autumn this whole time. Gotcha.
And he gets basically he reports to this officer while he's wearing this the Commando Elite, Stealth Elite armor, and then he gets put in charge, almost second in command, no questions asked.
Yeah.
Which is pretty funny.
The guy was literally just like, "Man, am I glad to see you."
Yeah.
Here's a unit to command. I need to
get to work. And he's like, "What? The demon?" Yeah. And then Chief makes his way through. Plan is to blow the reactors. They're making their way. ODST. They are on a mission to take the Truth and Reconciliation. That's their plan to get the fuck on out of there. Let me see here. Jenkins is with the ODST. He's still trying to communicate and figure out what the fuck is going on with himself. Let's see here. Oh, and apparently the ODST also capture a prophet at this point. I think. It said they caught one of those. It said I swear I thought it said that they caught a prophet, but and they also prepared to escape. On the Truth and Reconciliation. And then also this is where Silva decides he's like, we need to take the flood to study it, and that whole between him.
Another bit of the unraveling of Silva and his ego there, by the way. Right?
Yeah.
Like, you can see the cracks really starting to form because Wellesley is sitting there, like, implying that he doesn't have faith in Silva. He has faith in the lieutenant, in McKay, but Silva, he doesn't. It's because it's like, well, what's the problem? The problem is the flood. Because if we dust off and there's any flood on board, it could present a serious problem. And it's like he fully analyzes, like, the Covenant have made all the necessary repairs. They're just trying to sterilize the inside.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh well, all right, well then that's fine, because we'll just put them under lock and key. We'll heavily guard them, and we'll make sure they don't get out. No. Wellesley flat out says, no, that's not acceptable. If a single carrier form escapes into Earth's atmosphere, it's over. Like, it is all Jover. You can't do it. Like, it will eradicate the human race in a heartbeat.
Yeah, and that's when Silva fucking throws a hissy fit, gets all emotional. Hey, who's in rank here? You're just a stupid robot. So what a dingus here, and AI is just like, there's no point in arguing with you. Go ahead, do what the fuck you want. He's at one point he's like, but it'd be a waste of time to even suggest it.
Yeah, and Wellesley's flat out like, if that's your plan, then God help you.
Yes,
because if your plan fails, no one else has the power to.
Right.
Just like flat, like I got the page open. Like, and
also
Wellesley just not taking his shit.
Yeah, and also I think at the beginning of the chapter, right before he is talking to Wesley, he's having this is where he's starting to picture himself. It's like, when we make it back, he's thinking about the suit he's gonna wear for his speech, and all the accolades and all the glory, and he's already in his head, freaking, this is a win for me. And then this little argument, he's like, we're fucking going back, we're taking these things with us, and we're gonna show that we're the fucking best here. And that's when I think who pulls off McKay to the side? Like, some scientist guy pulls McKay to the side and is trying to describe. Oh, I totally blanked out on this part, but I remember McKay being pulled off by like a scientist or some shit or some lower ranking personnel, and he explains to her that the flood can't escape, or I can't remember, but she at one point like just realizes like what she needs to do. Even like what's his face Jenkins, he's like, he mustered up every bit of like to tap her on the shoulder or like fucking signal to her like, yo, you cannot let this shit escape this planet.
Yeah, Jenkins is just like the story, the tragic story of Jenkins is such a fucking marvel.
Yeah,
it's absolutely insane.
Yeah,
it's such a tragic story.
Yeah,
one man with the willpower to resist the flood.
Yeah, mentally and just like, I mean, yeah, a little bit physically too, but man, yeah, luckily, shout out to Jenkins. He that's like the Keys and Jenkins is like the most heartbreaking story because it's just the shit that they're going through with the flood is it's horrific, man. It really is. They really do paint a picture of just how gruesome and tormenting it is. And yeah, he's doing everything he can to signal to McKay like, yo, fucking end it. Like, you cannot, if there's not enough time to fucking escape, you gotta blow this fucking, you gotta stop fucking this ship from leaving this planet. And that's when she's like, all right, grenade into. She threw it into like an engine something, or I forget some important part of the ship that was enough
She
to.
cut the cable with the frag grenade.
I can't remember exactly.
I'm
But-
trying to read the paragraph here that
Yeah.
talks about it.
I just remember it was a grenade at
Yeah,
something
triggered a
important.
grenade. Yeah.
At something important, and as the grenade was about to set off, Jenkins was able to mouth out the words "thank you," which I was like, "Oh my god, Jenkins,
That's crazy.
you beautiful bastard!" and then right as the ship blew up, moments before a ship blowing up, one of the it goes back to Silva and Wesley, and one of the officers like, "Oh, the power went down in the engines," and Wesley says something along the lines of like, "Well, you at least taught her right."
Yeah.
Or I trusted her. You taught her good. And yeah, McKay sacrificed. And there was like, I remember them saying that there was like, how many Marines and shit left on that shit? Like, they had like a good couple hundred of Marines and personnel ready to escape on
Yeah.
the Truth and Reconciliation. She sacrificed hundreds of people. But because of the flood, it couldn't escape. It's like, hey, this is bigger than me, you, all of us. Because this can't leave this planet. And what if, like, if it was like just sacrificing herself and maybe Silva, but there were like hundreds of personnel too. It was like, what the fuck? Oh, so
The lives of the many outweigh the lives of the few.
That's right.
that is true. I was literally shocked. I'm like, wait, did she just blow everyone up? There was like hundreds of people out there. Like,
Yep.
what the fuck? They could
That's-
use those
that was
soldiers.
A soldier through and through. Not
Yeah.
focused on duty and not on
And
not on glory.
yeah, and
Also-
kind of back to what I said earlier a couple chapters ago, where it's like, if she couldn't just go. And I was thinking, like, why didn't she just go down and, instead of blowing up the ship, just like take out Silva somehow, and then go forth with the cleansing of the ship. But I was like, as I was thinking that, I'm like, oh, they maybe didn't have enough time. She realized, like, we're minutes away from blowing up, and I gotta stop this ship from leaving now. So running down to wherever the fuck Silva is and taking him out and forming a mutiny wasn't enough time. She had to take everyone out, and it's a hard decision. It had to
Also,
be done.
something that got glazed over a little bit is that one of the infection forms actually does attach to Chief
Yes.
at some point. Yeah.
So this is we mentioned a little bit of this when it didn't explain how the shields fight off the infection type. Like in the game, you just let a little fucking guy jump on you and he just explodes. They don't mention that until right at the end here, where yes, infection type actually breaks through his shield, gets actually into his skin, and it's crazy. You mentioned that all you needed was a single cell to get injected into you, and then the process starts. Fuck, he was close, man.
Yeah.
If Cortana didn't take over and say, I don't know what to do, and fucking electrocute the little bugger with the shields, shit, man, that got any second sooner or any second later, he would have been a goner. And yeah, man, close call.
Yeah, literally, like, use the suit's emergency power to cause an electrical discharge that fucking fried the form. And
Yep.
then he just pulled the penetrator out of his own skin
Yeah.
and that dressed his wounds right on the spot. And then they
Yep.
just merrily prance along to the engine room.
Back on their way to the engine room where they do the whole scene of exposing the cores and throwing grenades into the cores, fighting like hell, man. Sentinels, Flood, Covenant, fucking Chiefs doing it all, and finally get the reactor to start malfunctioning, start blowing up. And then we get that classic Warthog escape scene where they're like, we need to get the fuck on out of here. Foehammer, get over here. We need to get out of here. Hops
I
into a
can't. They're on my tail. I can't shake them.
Oh, that part breaks my heart.
Every
But
time.
I know, but yeah. So hits. I like when he jumps in the warthog first, though. He's like, oh, and then it turned on, and he was grateful. I'm like, of course it's gonna turn on. Well, I don't know, but and then yeah, that awesome scene of that they describe pretty accurately, pretty 1-to-1 of the video game of driving around, doing dives into the little fucking shafts. At one point Cortana was like, how did you know that it was gonna drop off like that? He's like, I didn't.
Yep.
That was great. And yeah, just narrowly make an escape. Oh, I didn't write this down, but I remember. Oh, what happens with? Didn't Zamami actually run into the chief?
Yeah, so when after Chief and Cortana set off the reaction for the reactor, the explosive reaction,
Yeah.
they're running towards a giant like elevator lift, and Zamami had set up a trap
Turret.
It's in the game too, which is even
Yes.
funnier.
Yes.
So yeah, there's a turret with some elites on there, and so what's interesting is in the game you just you have to take them out the old-fashioned way, but in the book, Cortana actually drops the elevator.
Yes.
So instead of like it stops on the level, but then she gets it moving again, and then
Yeah.
the book talks about how Chief throws some grenades down there, and it's enough to throw the guy up into the air, and he sees his like opponent one last time before he
Right.
like crashes down and breaks his head or neck or whatever.
Yep.
And, yeah, that's how he gets taken out. Which is it's cool that scene in the game is basically like the character in the book that we get to see. And
Right. At that moment when the elevator comes down, and it was a turret he was sitting on, right?
yes, it was a shade.
Yeah.
turret.
So when you fucking see that guy in the turret, that's fucking Zukazamami. Hilarious. Yeah, that's funny to think.
I love those details, tying it into things.
Oh yeah, for sure. And then we also had Yayep saying, "Fuck this shit, I'm out." Jumps into a banshee and flies away,
I
thinking
think it was
of.
a ghost. It was a ghost.
Oh, was it a ghost? I thought he was in a banshee.
He
Oh.
didn't get too far. Like he took because he loaded up with some supplies, like just to like try to live out the rest of his time.
Yeah.
And, yeah, he goes off. I'll double check that. I'm pretty sure it was a goat because I don't think grunts can fly banshees. I think they're too
Right.
small to do that.
No, the
Right.
only vehicles you ever see grunts drive are stationary turrets and ghosts, and you only see them drive ghosts in 3, I believe.
Uh-huh. Right on. Yeah. So. Oh man.
Yeah, I got that page open too, where shortly thereafter he loaded a day's worth of food plus a tank of methane onto a ghost, steered the vehicle out away from the Pillar of Autumn, and immediately found what he was searching for: a sense of peace. First time in many, many days, Yap was happy.
Aww.
Finally.
And then
He
Halo.
was just like, yeah, we're all gonna die. Fuck this. I am out.
Yeah, I wish he escaped the planet, and then all future Halo games is just on his
Part of me
adventures.
almost wishes that he was that grunt on the Warthog run at the end, going like, man, I'm glad that food nipple's waiting for me
Oh
back
yeah.
on the starship, because man, I worked up a big crunchy thirst.
Yeah,
Part of me wishes that was him, but no,
Yeah.
he was gone.
poor he was my favorite character. But yeah, no, I love the ending of Zamami, that whole scene, and then pretty much we get Chief escaping, Foehammer not making it, fucking crashing and burning, and then there was one last ditch effort, as everyone knows, to jump on a pelican, right, and get the fuck out of there.
Not Chief. You're not referring to Chief, right?
I am. What is Chief escaping?
Remember in a longsword.
The longsword. Why don't
So
I know
remember
that?
at the end of the level when you get to the end with the warthog and you have to hop out because there's a bunch of like crates and barrels in front of you.
Yeah.
And then you're running down this corridor and there's like a black ship waiting for you.
Uh-huh.
That's called a longsword.
Yeah, it's a longsword fighter.
Why do I not know that? Let me see.
If you-
Literally in the
feel-
last like 2 pages of the last 2 pages of the book.
I'm just
there.
trying to get an idea of what it looks like. Oh, right. Looks like a fucking like military
Almost like
Fucking
a
whatever.
B2 or I can't think
Yeah,
of
like a
the-
B2 cross.
Yeah,
with,
yeah,
like,
yeah. B2 bomber, yeah.
Yeah, and
I
so
love
like
crossover.
that scene
And
pretty
this
much
was just
plays
sitting
out
in the
exactly like the game.
yeah. The ending of it is pretty 1-to-1 with the ending of the game. Why don't I that ship was just sitting in the Pillar of Autumn? Okay.
Well, it was. They had a bunch of them, right? Because the Pillar of Autumn it had still a bunch of supplies on it. But yeah, that ship, once again, it's Chief's luck, right? Just so happened
Yeah.
to be sitting there for him to fire up, and it wasn't like malfunctioning or anything.
Right. Again, Chief and his luck, absolutely, yeah. Everything works out for him. And and then they just describe him flying off, Halo bursting into the way that just like in the game end of the game, one bit of the ring blows off, which fucks up the whole rotation, which means the whole fucking ring starts falling apart, and then a nice little kaboom to signify
Yep.
the end of Halo. I'm trying to think, how the fuck did any flood escape after that then? What the fuck?
It was. It's explained in some of the monitors on Halo 2. All right, some of the things like the
terminals.
words.
Terminals?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the terminals.
words.
Those words. Words are hard.
They are.
They explain that some of the flood escaped down to because it talks repeatedly about this gas giant nearby, right? There is a
Oh.
maintenance station near. There's a maintenance station above one of the things, and some of the flood had snuck on board. They had managed to escape into the vacuum of space and got
Wow.
on that. And that is that's the state. That is the station where the heretic in Halo 2 is, where they dispatch the Arbiter to go take out the heretic leader. Same place.
Oh.
Are you sure they escaped from the ring, or they were already on that facility?
It's possible, but I'm not sure. But it's possible both ways. It might be possible that was like a maintenance station involved with that ring as well. So it could be either way. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
So what you're telling me is McKay didn't need to blow up the fucking ship. We could have had all those people, because the flood was still infecting everything. God damn
Which
it.
She still had to blow it
means-
up, dude.
What was that, Insidious?
She's
Which
still-
means what?
That
Means keep going with it.
I don't know. What
Silva
was right. Yeah. Silva was right.
You gotta spoon feed it to him.
You're right. McKay was an asshole and Silva was right. You fucking Insidious is always right with his contradictory thoughts. God damn
No,
it.
I'm just joking.
No, you're
I will
But no.
I will only give Silva the credit that he, even though it was glory he had in mind, he kept trying to think of like what he thought was the best option, and he just
Yeah.
didn't want to listen. So it wasn't like he was doing it for evil purposes.
right.
He was just being selfish, but he genuinely thought what he was doing was right. It was just the absolute wrong answer. That's the only
Yeah.
credit
Yeah.
I give him.
I like to, I like to think back to another character that's much like him. That is a man by the name of Leroy Jenkins.
Leroy.
Oh boy.
Yep.
All right, boys, let's do this. Leroy Jenkins. That's right. You should have just Leroy Jenkins out of there. Fuck this shit, I'm out. And taken the flood with him. Taken all that personnel with him. There were ODSTs and Marines on that fucking ship. What the fuck? And you team killed yourself? Hundreds of people you team killed? Now that's even for me, Mr. Team Killer. Actually, no, Insidious is the team killer.
No, that was Neo.
Oh yeah, Neo is totally the team killer. Neo, you motherfucker.
And I mean, in this story, that'd be McKay. Just
Ah,
Yes.
Neo is
she would be the
McKay.
one that got credited with all of those kills.
That's right. You would have pulled out the stats at the end of the mission. 100, 200 fucking team kill. God damn it, woman. Hilarious. Banned.
Banned. You're banned.
Gone forever. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is The Flood, aka Halo 1.
Good book.
Hell yeah. Again, like I said at the beginning, this was a very easy listen, very easy read. If you've played Halo 1, I definitely recommend listening or reading this book. However if you have a Kindle or whatever the fuck you read on or listen to, I recommend it. It was fun.
One thing I enjoyed about this book was with how so many different snapping, interconnecting, and unique viewpoints. It reminds me of one of my favorite movies, The Fifth Element.
Yeah.
Yeah, like you have so many viewpoints, good, bad, comedic, otherwise, that all just kind of keep intersecting on each other, that it just creates a really unique and interesting story out of the massive chaos. It all fits very well, and it overlays with the framework that you're already familiar with Halo 1.
Exactly.
And it's not dry either. Like, there's nothing really like particularly dry or uninteresting about the book, because there's so much action going on, and whatever there would be for filler, they keep it pretty succinct.
Yeah.
So I'm happy with it.
Yeah.
It's a great
me too. Again, the familiar. Yeah. If you aren't like me, not into books, but you love video games, the familiarity of the Halo world, the Halo universe is already there, already pre-built. You could hear, you could see, you could smell these characters and stuff like that. I bet Joe Biden's excited about the smelling, and you know, so it's easy. It's really easy to dive into it, which is why I'm really glad that these two Halo books were kind of like my first introduction into books again, because again, like I've mentioned, I don't read. I think you could tell by my words. Fucking Carl said a while ago, the word fought is doing a lot of heavy lifting there, Paul. They fought them. There was a lot of fighting going on, right? What do you want me to say? Battles. I'll say the battles were long and drawn.
Hard. Battles were long and hard.
That's
I mean, in
right.
Paul's defense, though, I mean, that's how the book went. There were a lot of battles.
It was. Yes. It's like he fought him, he fought her. Oh wait, I was trying to do another little Nicky reference. That failed.
Thank God it failed.
Release the evil. That's what they didn't want to do. They're like, we got to keep the flood from releasing the evil. Anyways, that will do it here for Book Club, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, all you guys. Insidious, Imp, Angry Canadian, you guys have been awesome. Before we leave, why don't you tell the people what you got going on? Let's start off with Mr. Canadian. What do you got? Anything coming up?
Yeah, tomorrow night. Let's see, 7 p.m. Eastern time. I'm gonna do one final stream for #JRPG month, something that Carl of RNG started, and I'll be taking on two of the probably hardest bosses in JRPG history from Final Fantasy VII, the Emerald and Ruby weapons.
Good choice.
I found some pretty interesting strategies on how to beat them, so we're gonna have some fun and just take them out. And I'll close out #JRPG month, and then the following week I'm gonna be starting a promo, I guess you can say, for an upcoming game/movie that Imp probably knows about. So I got something cool being cooked right now for that. So just follow me on YouTube's here at Angry Canadian, as well as Twitter, for those announcements for next week as well. Appreciate you having me back on, man.
Absolutely. I appreciate you coming on. Oh my god, my cats are fighting. All right. I heard a loud in the back. Links are in the description. Everybody go give Angry Canadian a follow. Thank you once again for oh my god, guys, chill. Thank you again for suggesting these books. This is again a great introduction to reading for me, because again, words are hard and reading I is dumb. The whole Polish joke. Insert Polish joke here. But yeah, no, this is great, and now I'm ready to venture forth into deep lore, like Warhammer and all those other craziness. But no, I again, because I Uber a lot, I'm always have the opportunity. I watch streams sometimes. I'll have one headphone in my ear and my phone, mounted on my car as I'm Ubering people around. The GPS is up, but I got a little picture-in-picture, and I watch streams a lot. That's how I hang out with most people. But it's been a lot of fun just popping on a book and zoning out and just driving people fucking mindlessly. On Earth, I'm driving, but in my head, I'm on Halo, running with Master Chief, banging. What am I saying? Anyways,
Banging. I mean, that's one way to think about it.
Banging people down, fucking some Covenant. All right.
Doing what?
But I don't even know anymore. Let's
Pause?
move on. We'll be right back. No, I'm joking. Again, thank you, Angry Canadian. Fucking big ups. These episodes wouldn't have happened if you and Nerdy Neo weren't in Melee Games chat talking about the books. So I appreciate that a lot.
Anytime, man.
Hell yeah. And if there's any other books, I don't know if you're into Warhammer, but I have a good feeling that I'll be doing a Warhammer book, introducing I'm gonna ask Insidious is the Warhammer expert, and then I'm gonna figure out a good starting book to get me into that lore. And I don't know how.
Jesus, good luck.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because I don't know, because Eisenhorn's a good one, but that's more of like a detective story.
Okay.
And that might be too slow. I don't know if you want action or if you want like
whatever. I want whatever. Give me something that is a good starting point for the world building. That's kind of what I'm looking for.
All right.
But
Wow.
we'll figure that out as we enter the season of Warhammer. I'll get into what I got coming up, because I started Space Marines yesterday. Wanted to start that game, and before 2 comes out, and also want to play Bolt Gun and a bunch of the Warhammer games. So I'm excited. But moving on to Imp Black Belt, what do you got coming up? Where
Well,
can people find you?
for people that don't know, my internet was acting fucky over the weekend, so I actually missed a day of streaming. I am planning on doing a quick little bonus stream tomorrow,
Let's
probably
go.
between 6 and 7 p.m. Eastern. It'll be a short one. I just wanted to kind of sit down, touch base with the touch base with the friends and viewers, and say, hey, yeah, I'm still here. So I will probably be doing. It'll probably be a little bit of Grim Dawn. Just a little bit of fun. I am a big fan of Diablo 2. It's one of my favorite games, and I refuse to give Blizzard any money. So Grim Dawn it is. It's actually been really fun. But if I can, I'm gonna drag some of my own friends in for a little like 2 or 3 hour multiplayer session. Otherwise, I mean, you can always find me on Twitter. I stream on both YouTube and on Twitch. So either's great if you guys want to tune in and spend some of your valuable time with me. I appreciate that. Just having people to hang out, chat with is great. Beyond that, on Sundays, I have another friend. I hang out with them. We've made it a very regular Sunday thing. Right now, we're going through. Well, he is playing all of the Kingdom Hearts games while we sit there and drink and laugh at his suffering.
God bless his soul.
And he's on Kingdom Hearts Rechain of Memories, so you have no fucking idea. It's definitely like one of the ones with the worst controls.
Oof.
Because it's got that weird fucking card battle system on top of like the way the combat works. And it's it's been a lot of fun. We're having an absolute blast. Yeah, Kingdom Farts. Patience has got it right. Also, so that we're calling Mystery Science Gaming Theater 9000.
Love it. Love it.
And it's Kingdom Hearts, the drunken playthrough. So we are having a blast with that. And then normally you can find me on my Twitch and YouTube streams Monday and Tuesday afternoon. So I just play retro. I play whatever the fuck I feel like. Right now, with September coming up, I am charging through Sonic the Hedgehog games. I am
Nice.
trying to suffer through the last of Sonic and the Secret Rings so that
Oh
I
my
can make
goodness.
my way to Sonic Colors.
Colors. That's the recent. That was the recent 2D one, right?
No.
No, Sonic Colors was the last one on the Wii.
Oh,
I
gotcha.
have already played through both Sonic, Sonic Unleashed and Sonic and the Black Knight on the Wii. So I just have to finish. I have to get the last world ring and then beat the true ending, and then just get to Sonic.
Sonic.
And then I can start a better game, Sonic Colors. If I've got time before all that starts, I'm gonna try and truly suffer with Sonic 06.
Oof.
It'll be the console version too, so don't you worry. It'll truly be suffering.
Oh my god, that's the one
Did
with
anybody
the.
else suffer there?
Does it?
Sorry, with
does
the
anyone
internet?
else
Suffer with the internet. I didn't.
Yeah.
No,
Because I was
I
listening
didn't.
to him explain what Sonic games he's playing, and then all of a sudden it conked out. So
Oh,
that
unless
may-
that was me, I didn't catch.
I think that was you. Yeah, I think that
I
was
think
you.
that was you this time, yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Did you say you played Black Knight?
I've played both Black Knight and Sonic Unleashed. I am currently suffering through Sonic and the Secret Rings. I'm almost there. I got the false ending. And then I'm going to move on to
Oh,
Colors.
yes. Okay, yeah. Alright, cool.
And I played them in the wrong order. I should have played Secret Rings first, and then Black Knight, and then Unleashed, and then Colors at the end.
Hell.
Yeah, because you can at least get the suffering out of the way in the beginning.
Yeah. Well, I didn't know which one was more suffering, and I didn't do my research into the chronological launch order. So, alright, lesson learned. Sonic Colors is at least like a game. One of the games of all time.
One of the games. Of
I don't
all
know who
time.
I seriously don't know who the flying fuck thought that control scheme for the two storybook games was like a good idea, but Jesus, dude, just stop. Someone needs to find that guy who okayed that, said, yeah, this feels great, and like give him a fucking Wii remote colonoscopy.
I mean, that same mindset gave us the ultimate fighting game on the Wii known as Castlevania Judgment.
Oh my
Oh
god.
my
I
God.
still have to find a copy of that. I want to play that so bad.
Because
My-
that uses the motion controls in a fighting game, which is just as odd as motion controls in a Sonic game. So.
Oh, wait. No. There's another game that does that too. Hold on. I got it on my thing over here. Wait.
Alright.
Where are you? It's this one. Bleach Shattered Blade.
Oh
Also
my god.
a motion control fighting game for the Wii.
The Wii. My god. Oh, pfft.
Yeah.
Carl saying, don't talk shit about Castlevania Judgment.
I am not.
No,
yeah,
Castlevania
I'm not.
Judgments is great. Like, it's got such unique character designs, and the little
Music
fucking
box.
girl version of Maria is obsessed with the adult women's breast sizes. It's fantastic. 10 out of 10.
Giggity.
Huh.
That's not a joke either. Like when you face off, because they have like unique interactions when they face off in the story modes, right? So when Maria comes up against either of the two adult females, she just remarks about their breast size. That's not a joke.
Love it.
Epic.
That's amazing.
10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. Absolutely. Well, if you would like to watch Imp suffer through Sonic and boobies,
Oh, there's not gonna be enough boobies.
oh no, that was just was that Castlevania Judgment where the person was talking about?
That's Castlevania Judgment. Yeah.
But if you'd like to watch him suffer through some Sonic and have good times, check out his Twitch and his YouTube and his Twitter. All links are down in the description below. Be sure to give him a like and a follow and a tug.
Give your balls a tug.
Oh my goodness.
I
Way to make it awkward
actually
at the
think
end.
I might get some opinions on this later, but I was thinking about having like a regular gaming masochism section or segment on my stream where I just play really bad games. I just
Yeah.
finished like Metal Dungeon, and that's not nearly as much suffering as some people think, but it's still pretty suffering.
Everyone loves watching people suffer.
That's right.
So, that would be a great idea. Alrighty, and moving on to Mr. Insidious, Mr. Contrarian Bliss. What do we got coming up with the company boys?
Well, I guess before I get into that, let me just say though, because I have a lot of Halo fatigue, but having Angry Canadian and Internet Crusader here to talk about it, I enjoyed listening to them talk about it much more than I like the book.
Hell yeah.
That's a definite compliment to both of you guys.
I appreciate that, dude. You are a great guy. I'm glad to have you as a friend.
So, and
Hell yeah.
likewise, what's coming up for me? Obviously, I'm excited to get into some Warhammer 40k. We got that coming up on the 5th. On the 11th, I will be on Cult of Carl's show, talking about the best year in gaming. What else do we got? Paul, it's a holiday weekend. Are we doing
Is it a holiday weekend?
Yep.
What holiday?
Labor Day.
Labor Day.
Oh, who gives a shit about Labor Day?
I
Well,
give a
that's-
shit about Labor Day because it's going to be abject suffering.
The whole other day we could stream.
Kitchen.
Exactly. You know what? That just sounds like Company Boys Day to me.
That's right.
Yeah.
It's a day literally named after us.
That's our
my
holiday. That's our...
Hijack it.
What day is that on? The 7th?
Monday.
It's Monday. The 2nd or the 9th?
Second?
That's the
Yeah,
second.
the second.
It's this Monday coming up. In
Ooh.
Yeah.
like 4
Damn.
days.
We're gonna have to do some kind of laborious, do nothing. We should do like a stream where we're playing nothing but jobs. Deep Rock Galactic, Lethal Company. Anyway, all the games we play are just jobs.
We could do that.
That'd be down. Laborious day with the Company Boys. That sounds fun. But this Saturday we got Company Boys Roulette. And when is that? That's 20. Oh wait, we got a guest on the 21st. Kay is joining us on the 21st.
Hell
We
yeah.
got
That's
James
like middle-
coming up.
When's that?
James is the 7th, and Kay is the 21st.
That's right. That's
We'll be
right.
playing Dark Tide on the 7th. Because
More Warhammer.
Space Marine 2 is only 3-player, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah. So we'll play some Dark Tide on the 7th, some Space Marines on the 5th. I'm probably going to play some more Space Marines 1 maybe tomorrow, I hope. I want to finish that before we get started. And what else do we got? Yeah, that's about it. Maybe something on Sunday too. Oh shit, that'd be a triple whammy. But everybody go subscribe to the Company Boys channel on YouTube and on Twitch. We are having a blast over there. And as for me, I got Beelzebub tomorrow, late Friday night, technically Saturday morning at 2 a.m. Central Time. And that's all I got coming up. That's
2
about
a.m.
it.
Central.
2 a.m. Central, that's right. I work Friday night and then come home and hang out with fucking Devil Made Me Do It and a couple of the boys over
Sounds
there.
like a great time. I'm just like, oh, it's 3 in
Yeah.
the morning for me.
It is, yeah.
It's Saturday. It's
And,
early
yeah.
Saturday.
Early Saturday.
I wish I had
So-
time off on Saturday. This whole weekend's gonna be murder for me.
Oof, yeah. Carl asking, you guys playing with Space Marines with Seth? Yes, it is going to be us three, the Company Boys. And yeah, it is,
He's calling you out.
who's calling me out?
Carl.
Hangs out. Me too.
Paul never hangs out with me at 2 a.m. Hey, come on over.
Yeah, exactly. You guys like live near each other.
We live like, I think like 20, 30 miles apart from each other. Yeah, we're not that far actually. Hell yes. Well, and as for the next episode of Book Club, I have been slacking and have not planned anything, so I think I may take a week or two off as I plan the next episode of Book Club. I think we'll be back on movies but I want to give time to gather the guests, let the guests choose their movies, and actually watch the movies. So follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, and go fuck yourself. How about that?
All right, fine. I see how it is. Bye.
Carl, tell me, no, you come over. Aw, he left. Did he really? Bye, Imp. Is he gonna come back? I don't know if he's coming back. But anyways, I guess that will be it for us here. I'm waiting for him to come back, but I guess not.
I think he had the right idea.
I think he got.
Oh wow. What is going on here? No formalities. Oh, he's
Button.
back.
You came back and Insidious had the same idea. He's like, you know what? He's got the right idea. I'm out. Fuck this shit. All right. Everybody's back. All right. Thank you, everybody, for stopping by. You
Bye,
could have been
guys.
anywhere, but you came here and hang out with us. So thank you once again. Big ups to Amin Ra for that tip, and we love you all. Y'all. He's saying bring the lady and a cat. That's right.
That lady.
That lady. All right, guys. Have a good one. Peace out. And conserve, recycle, conserve water, and don't eat that sourdough bread sandwich they got there up in Crystal or White Castle if you up north. Bye.